What? Bro, what? I have Ultimate. What do you... I have Xbox Ultimate. What do you tell me? Oh my God. This is so ironic. I go live in it. I get this screen. Well, I'm here for episode 3 of Cancel Game Pass. Jamion, what is going on? Yes, we got the word a few hours ago that we're gonna hear something this coming week about Xbox hardware being done. Okay, let me just share this out. And we'll get to it. I'm gonna buy the last 2 Xbox games on my Xbox account tonight. The final 2 games I'm gonna buy. All right, I think I shared this everywhere. Just share this over here in this one spot, and then we're gonna continue here. Stevie Mac, what's going on? We're gonna get into it. Okay. You're gonna cry over it? You know what's really fucked up? I should be crying. I have Game Pass Ultimate, and it's telling me get more. I just got an ad. I turned on the Xbox, and this is the ad. I have Ultimate. I already have Ultimate. What the hell are you telling me to view my plan for? I got to redeem this code I got from GameStop, and I'm gonna buy the last 2 games now. So. Let me again, I just turned on my Series X and this is the screen I got. When I already have Ultimate. So what are you telling me? Ooh, you have you need to get Ultimate or whatever. Get even more with Ultimate. Dude, I'm not getting more with anything. After April 19th, which is the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers Zeo, I'm done. My Xbox expires and I'm not coming back. Like the infamous words of a president once said, kiss my ass. I'm cutting taxes. Well, I'm not cutting taxes. But kiss my ass. I'm not coming back. Kiss my ass. I'm not coming back. Oh, man. All right, let me get a funny picture to put up on the screen while I click on this view my account thing. Make sure it doesn't give any personal info out. Let's get some Phil Spencer memes up on here. Right, we got to go to this folder here, that folder. This is an Xbox, huh? Let's see here. What do I got? The Wizard, Phil Spencer. You know, I'll use this one. I don't think I've used this one yet. You guys have seen this one, but I don't think I've used it yet. All right, let me check this. Let me click on this, see what it says. If it's nothing too crazy, I'll show you guys. View my plan. Okay, this doesn't say anything too bad. So I got an ad saying I should get Game Pass Ultimate, and it says view my my plan, and it says right there Xbox Game Pass Ultimate status is active, recurring billing is turned off, and as you guys can see, it expires April 19th, 2026. So I'm not renewing. I'm not coming back. I'm done. It's over. Peter, what's going on? Camame, what's up? So we got Jamie on. We got Stevie Mac. We got Peter. We got Jamie on. So tonight, I'm going to buy the last 2 games on my account, and that's it. I'm not buying any more Xbox games ever again after tonight. Unless they release like the Police Quest like collection on Xbox or something crazy. I'm done. After tonight, I'm done. I want to add them to my account. This way I have access to them. Again, that might be a dumb thing because we don't know for how long now, because apparently it came out tonight that Xbox hardware is done. They are no longer going to make hardware anymore, and they're pulling out of hardware. Don't know what that means fully, but allegedly we're going to hear something this coming week officially from Microsoft. Which, I mean, we've called this the entire year. I mean, we've been saying this since December, January, that they were getting out of hardware. And then Sarah Bond made that fucking video a month ago or whatever, and everyone's like, oh, no, they're going to keep making hardware. They're going to keep making hardware. Well, guess what? It seems like they're not going to keep making hardware, so there you go. There's proof. I'm not renewing. I'm not paying monthly. I never paid monthly. I always stacked my memberships. I'm not doing this monthly thing. Sorry. $30 is way too much money for fucking Game Pass. It wasn't even worth it at $20 a month. I'll be honest with you guys. For me, it was not worth the $20 a month. For you, maybe. Hey, when they raise it to 40 or 50 next year, if they're even around next year, you enjoy that and you pay that. But I'm not paying nothing. You know, I hear a lot of bullshit online. Oh, I'm not paying. Ooh, Star Wars fucked everything up. I'm not going to pay for Disney anymore. I'm going to pay for this. I'm not going to pay for that. Ooh, Netflix went up $2. I'm not paying no more. Well, guess what? Now you can do that. And I hear that shit all the time. Well, guess what? I'm not fucking. You can pay if you want for Xbox. I'm not paying for this shit no more. I'm done. I'm kind of embarrassed I still have it until April. I would rather not use it. I'll be honest with you. And by the way, it's false advertising because when I signed up, you got all the discounts on the games. Now they're taking all that shit away. So I should actually be prorated. Just saying. That's a class action lawsuit. That's all right. They'll deal with that later, right? All right, let me put the screen back up for a second and get out of this screen, make sure nothing is shown. All right. All right, good. So I got to put my, I got to redeem my code here so I can get my money, my $50. So I'm going to pay for this game because, you know, I actually buy games. It's $13 with Game Pass. Okay, so I still get some sort of a discount. You'll earn X amount of points, blah, 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 blah. Do I have any fucking points? You know what? I'll buy this and I'll use the final points for the next game. All right, I'm going to pay for this game without the gift card. So let me just pay for this really quick. The total is going to be $14.59. There you go. There you go. I paid for the game. I bought a game that's actually on Game Pass. Isn't that fucking funny how that works? You've earned 1402 points, blah, 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 blah. Message from Xbox. Probably a message telling me to go fuck myself. Okay, well, that's it. I bought the game. It's mine. Now we're going to move on to the final game. If this is even in the damn store. Oh, here it is. It's right here. And it's on sale. Okay. So I got to redeem my code and I'm buying this. And that's it. This is the final game. This is the final game that I'm buying on this machine. And that's it. I'm done. And you know what? I got those Halo Xbox Series X's. I might unload those because they're going for a lot of money. What am I going to do with them? All right. Let's see here. What do I got to do here? So I don't know if you guys want to talk about stuff, but if you want to talk, let's talk. Get the chat room rolling over here. How do I redeem these codes? I go to the store, right? I click on redeem. Yeah, why the fuck don't they use the QR codes anymore? Come on, man. I can't even see this code. It's so small. I'm gonna have to take a picture of my phone. I'm getting old. So October 4th, 2025 will be a day that lives in infamy when the news was broken that they are pretty much done. Talos, what's going on, man? How you doing? Hope everything's well, man. All right, I can see this now. I took a photo of it. Let's type in this code. I don't even care if you guys see it. Who gives a shit? It's going to be redeemed anyway. I'm going to check my code, confirm my $50. Noof, what's going on, brother? How you doing? The man is here. Boom, boom, kaboom. Noof Nukem's in the room. There you go. All right, I redeemed it. Let's go. This is it. We're buying the final game on this fucking account. And you know what? I'm gonna miss out on NCAA, right? Because I'm probably gonna buy NCAA when it's $3, but whatever. That might be the last NCAA game. I don't know. Whatever. The hell with NCAA. I'll buy it on PlayStation for $3. All right, here we go. This is it. Click on pre-order. Oh, wait, you know what? The rewards. How do I use my damn rewards? You've accumulated $1.50, $1.25 through Xbox. All right, let's go fucking redeem them then. Where the hell are the rewards again? Under apps? Right here, right? Yeah, it is. It's up for pre-order. It comes out October 30th. Noof. If it got easier, why can't I just redeem them? I got 2,000 points. All right, well. Well, how many points is the Xbox card? What? They used to tell me, like, okay, a $3 card is I can redeem. Oh, set as my goal, so I can't even redeem that. Okay, just redeem it. Who cares? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Hold on. Well, I'm here. Let's talk about whatever you want. You want to talk about them pulling out of hardware? What's going on? This is what it's all about. Talking it out. I can't believe I can't redeem the codes anymore without signing in and shit. What do you mean manage how I sign in? My phone number is already added. Oh, add a phone number? So you need me to add my phone number for me to redeem a goddamn code? I didn't have to do this before, ever. Hang on. I'm going to try to redeem this again. Phone verification. You need a phone verification. You know what, Satya? Go fuck yourself. I'm not giving my fucking phone number. How about that? I'm sick of this fucking company. God damn it. For $1 fucking whatever, I'm going to give you my phone number. Go fuck yourself. I never had to do that before with these fucking rewards. Now I got to put my phone number in. Go fuck yourself. Hey, you know what, Xbox? Fuck you. Fuck Phil Spencer. Fuck all these fucking idiots that work there. Fuck all these rich assholes that fucked everybody over. That lied to us, by the way. And I hope there's a goddamn class action lawsuit because I'll put my fucking name on that thing and I'll get my $1.25 back or whatever the fuck you were going to give me just now. Yeah, it's depressing, Jamion. But we saw this coming. I told you guys all year that this shit was going to happen, and it happened. Unfortunately, you know, we didn't think it would happen this quick. Well, we knew it was coming. The minute you couldn't find those things on shelves, we knew. Use my $50 balance, and I'll still have $5 left. Actually, no, I won't. I'll have, after tax, I'll have 48. So I have like $1 and change left, right? All right, just buy the game. That's it. This is the last game I'm purchasing on the Xbox. Yeah, it wants a phone number from me too, Noof. Which it never asked me for a phone number out of all the years that I've been using this. Never asked me for a phone number. All right, well, this card is crap. I'm throwing this card out. That's it. It's the last title I'm buying. So that's it. It's purchased, pre-ordered, and that's it. I bought Heretic and Herexen. Heretic and Hexen. And that's it. Not buying no more shit on here. You can kiss my ass, Xbox. Microsoft. Milkman, how you doing? Milkman, why don't you jump in the conversation? Why any of you guys jump in? I'll open the Discord. But I'm going to tell you something right here, right now. This coming week, once this news officially drops, gaming ain't easy. Game complainers, it's going to be stacked. We're going to have tons of people on it. We're going to have an open panel again. This is going to be crazy. I mean, prepare for a big week. That's all I'm saying. The latest title and last title is Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. That's it. It's over. Unless I find something for $1 on here that I can buy. which sucks because I have $1 left in my wallet now. Fucking Microsoft. Always stealing people's fucking money. Well, yeah, I'm going to open the Discord right now. So anybody who wants to come in, MILF, anybody? You want to talk? You don't want to talk? All right, I'm in the Discord, so it's open. Anyway, so it seems like they're ending hardware. Hey, man, if you want to fire that up, you let us know. If not, if you want to do it solo, that's cool. No problem. But I think I think this week is going to be a busy week. That's for sure. And, a lot of these guys, they called us the turncoats, right? Isn't that what, Noof, that's what Noof said one time? Turncoats? I think that's funny. We're the Xbox turncoats. Meanwhile, we're the ones that spend the most money on Xbox. I bought another Xbox controller today, too. It's called Heartbreak Pink. Yeah, I guess I should shove that up my ass now, right? When is the official funeral of Xbox? That might be this week. I don't know. Why don't you just fucking kill it? Like 100% kill it. Just come out on Monday and be like, you know what? We tried. It's over. We're done. Everything's done. Game Pass is done. All this shit's done. It's over. Just do it. They didn't want to admit that. We were right. Yeah, I know. And you know what? And you know this too, Noof. We didn't want to be right. We didn't want to be right. Even as an Xbox fan that's pissed off, you hope that at the 11th hour they would pull it out of their ass or something and get it done. And they didn't. They let it die. And that sucks, man. It really does. Hardcore Xbox fans here. We call them out on bullshit. We're the bad guys. All right. Well, guess what? Now you don't have a fucking Xbox to play anymore. If your Series X dies, I'm good because I got plenty of them because I love getting robbed, I guess. But, if yours dies out there, your one console dies, guess what, motherfucker? Because you didn't fucking call them out, now you got to pay $650 for a new box if you can find one. Now, I have a feeling once this news, they're already clearance down at a lot of places. Once this news breaks, like Best Buy, the one or two they have left, I went back to the Best Buy today in Poughkeepsie. They had one left in the lockup cage, the same one that me and Frank saw like a month ago. The one with the disk drive, they had one left. I assume that once this news is officially out, Best Buy's going to drop that fucker to like $100 or something just to get it out. So if you're in the market for a current gen, wink, wink. But they don't care because everything is an Xbox. Yeah, I know. That's right. That's all right. So if they cancel hardware, I guess Magnus is fucking scrapped. And I guess that custom AMD chip is all fucking scrapped. Even though they were going to OEM all that stuff out. Are they even going to do that now? You have to ask yourself. You have to wonder. It's like, all right. Are they even going to license their name anymore? Yeah, let's play it 2 weeks early. You're too early. Yeah, well, Xbox, you're a little too late. They have the ROG Ally. Oh, yeah, the ROG. Well, I heard that Good Old Games is making the GOG Ally. Fuck the ROG Ally, says Jamie. The ROG Ally, it's a piece of crap. All this fucking work to get Final Fantasy here. Yeah, right, Final Fantasy. They finally get it on Xbox and it's dead. The Xbox died before Final Fantasy came out. It actually has a release date, and the fucking thing is dead. I haven't even gotten my Halo 5 system back. Never got Halo Series X. Memories of everything since fucking 02. LOL, Xbox a little too late. Yeah, they're a little too late to everything, huh? That's okay. I'm hating. I'm a pony guy that hates on everything. You know what? Whatever. Go see a fucking shrink. I think I just rogged my pants, says Stevie Mac. Yeah, I think we all did, right? Who canceled Game Pass today? Anybody? That's the name of the show. Cancel Game Pass, right? The Discord is open. I don't know if Milkman wants to jump in. Usually he comes in when I go on late. Stevie Mac, I don't know if you want to jump in. Anybody? Yeah, man, we got fucked big time, huh? Xbox officially declared that they're both. Oh, okay. What news came out today? It's being reported that Xbox is done with hardware officially, and we're gonna hear something next week. I wonder if they'll have that like unknown lady do the reporting on that. You know who the real turncoat is? That's Phil Spencer. Fuck that guy. He's the real turncoat. That guy, he should have been out there making all the announcements, doing everything. Instead, he hides behind this new lady. You know, remember when I said when Sarah Bond went back to Tyson Chicken, or she didn't went back. I keep saying she's going back to Tyson Chicken. When Sarah Bond announced she was going to Tyson Chicken, everyone was like, "Oh no, she's not leaving. She's still going to work for Microsoft." It's like, no, I think that's her exit strategy. And it seems like that might be her exit strategy. And by the way, if hardware's dead, Jason Ronald's out of a fucking job. He's going to have to hand over his beard to Microsoft security when he leaves the building that last day. They're going to give him the pink slip, be like, your beard is property of Microsoft. You got to cut that off before you leave. El Nini, what's going on? I haven't had Game Pass and was considering doing the $10 trim. You know what else is funny? They put out the most games this year, and still none of them were nominated for Game of the Year at the Golden Joystick. So there you go. El Nini, what's up? I can't wait for the Tyson Series Chicken X to come out. Right. The Tyson Series Chicken X to come out. A new console, right? Bro, Mike Tyson can run the fucking Xbox division better than Phil Spencer. I mean, come on. You get Mike Tyson in there, then these developers don't make the games in time. They'll go over there and knock them the fuck out. They'll make the games. DJ, what's going on? DJ, it looks like Xbox hardware is dead, and they're going to announce it at some point this coming week. The word got out that it looks like hardware is finished. So, DJ, you can hang on to your Xbox Series X, or you can sell it. Or do whatever you want with it. Leaker is known to be correct. Well, here's what happened. Tim Dog kind of put that out earlier I was going to say this afternoon. Earlier tonight, he put that out. And then people started running with it. But yeah, he's not going to put that out. And he's not going to just put that out there. Well, she didn't book it. She joined Tyson Chicken or whatever, and all these Xbox guys were like, "Oh no, she's going to do both jobs at the same time." And I'm like, "Whatever, man. Why does somebody join another corporation while they're with a corporation? That doesn't make sense." But whatever. But it seems like, yeah, this might be the exit strategy for her at least. Throwing the wood chipper, Venom Dave. What's going on? My Xbox theory, it's the real knockout from Tyson. Yeah, I'm trying to read it in Mike Tyson terms, but I can't. Can we get Mike Tyson in the Discord possibly? Yeah, let's look at my library that I'm gonna have to rebuild again on a different fucking platform because I got robbed. I got lied to. Borderlands, I'm not. That's on my wife's account. Some of these are her games because we game share on this console right here, but I still paid for them all. She fucking got out before the fall. Well, she's still with the company, but again, for how long? I mean, how you join another company usually because you're in between jobs, I guess, right? So if they the rumor was Phil Spencer's actually leaving this year. So if he goes, she's gonna go. She's gonna go right to Tyson, keep doing what she's doing there. That's my prediction. I don't know. None of that is reported. That's just speculation on my end. The 7th time. Oh, who is this?
Boom, boom, kaboom.
It's my boss.
What's going on, boys?
What's going on? Who the hell's Macho?
Macho.
What's up, noob?
Who is this?
What's going on, Milf?
The MILF Man is here.
What's up, Perry? Yeah, it's me.
Well, MILF Man, guess what? You bought all those physical Xbox games, and you won't be able to play them now.
Well, I didn't pay much. I'm actually playing. I have the Xbox One X, so I guess that'll be my last official Xbox console ever got.
Yeah, but when it breaks, that's it. No more.
Oh yeah.
You have to throw all those games in the garbage.
Well, technically, I barely paid anything for the games anyway. Most of the games I got under $10.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, most of them are like super cheap at GameStop.
You still got robbed. Sorry.
I didn't get robbed that much. I didn't get robbed that much.
Let me put this in perspective for everybody. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, let me put this in perspective for everybody. So obviously the news this week has been pretty grim. Now it's not the end of the world per se, like the whole price hike thing, right? It's definitely a lot higher than we expected, and most of us have been saying, look, Game Pass is going to continue to spiral upwards. I just don't think anybody thought it would be that much this soon, right? Yes, I do agree with people. It still might be the best value in gaming per se, right? I don't think anybody can still technically debate that, but it's not. Again, it's like we've said and we said the other night, Perry. It's the principle, right? It's the optics of this whole thing, and it stinks. I mean, it's like one bad news after another. You up the price of the console, which we obviously 5 years in, you'd think it'd be at least going down. It's like you're almost like self-sabotaging yourself at this point. It's like you're doing everything you can to rid yourself of your heritage. The console, which basically helped build the brand. I mean, the Xbox brand was built on an Xbox console, right? We go right back. Everybody knows that. And I don't understand how you can fall so far from the super success they have at 360. And even right now, as much as we bitched about the Xbox One generation, fuck man, it was way better than what we got now. Right? Like that's where we're at. And I mean, this probably is likely the Xbox Series X and Series S are probably likely the last Xbox consoles we might ever see. We can't necessarily rule it out, but honestly, even if they make one, is anybody even want to buy it in good faith now with trust? They've destroyed so much trust with all of us as fans. How can we buy? How can we buy another Xbox console? Knowing full well, and if we bought an Xbox console, what would we buy it for? Like they don't even have exclusives now. They're giving it all away. So this is where we're at. Like tell well, because my friends and all my back catalog, I don't know. Like just to me, that's just not cutting it. The excuses we see around the community from the big YouTubers is like at some point you guys really need to wake up because Tim Dog obviously woke up. A lot of us other guys are woken up, and for some of us. We get called, like I said, the grifters and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, so we're all just self-sabotaging our channels because, you know, primarily, like, if you look at my channel, it was largely built, and a lot of the people that subscribe to me, Perry, you know this, largely like my channel because I was always deemed as a pro Xbox guy, correct?
Yeah.
You look at the people that came to my chat. They were largely pro Xbox people that preferred Xbox, and they enjoyed listening to Gaming After Dark or whatever the hell podcasts I had, because a lot of times we talked a lot of stuff about Xbox. More majority of the time, it was very positive. So what? You think I went out and self-sabotaged my channel to be just like, you know, I want to be cool. I want to be like the guy that jumps ships. Like anybody who knows me and anybody who knows I've ever had a channel should know that. I mean, I've always had PlayStations, and you've seen me stream games from the PlayStation. You've seen me talk about PlayStation stuff, good and bad.
Yep.
You know, people seem to think that I've never called PlayStation on anything. It's all of a sudden like I'm just praising. No, I see this as a double whammy, because not only is Xbox sort of conceding the victory here, really, but what I'm also worried about is that Sony will only get worse. Is that without a major competitor in the game, without a major competitor in this fight, certainly competing on, you know, not just games, but again with hardware space and controllers and whatever. At the end of the day, $100 is $100, and when we go to the store to spend $100, we got to figure out some of the times: are we spending it on Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo? Right?
Right.
And that, a lot of gamers that are on a limited budget, that's what they're also faced with. And you have to be the best brand proposition at the time. Like if I was all in on Xbox, I'm going to the store and I'm not even questioning that. My $100 is going on an Xbox game, but not anymore, right? But Sony here, like, if they're not careful and they want to get cocky or lazy, this could spiral out of control for them too. So they better fucking pull up their bootstrings, and I hope they're paying attention to all the missteps that Microsoft is giving them, because I don't think that Sony defeated Xbox just yet. I think Xbox defeated them fucking selves. And the last thing when I'm on this big ass rant here, okay, because I don't want to take up your whole show or whatever, but I largely blame this too, and not enough of the blame is going on the studios themselves and how they're managed.
Oh yeah.
Okay? Because what do you need to drive Game Pass subscriptions? You need games, and we all know that nobody invests their money in Game Pass for just indie titles. We invested because we believe that Microsoft bought the studios and would have the most games. Now look at the trend with Microsoft. Every time they bought a studio, you know, even the ones that were notorious for putting out lots of games, you know what happened as soon as Microsoft took over? The games dried up. They're paying out millions upon millions to all of these studios and all their employees, and nobody's putting out anything. You know, we spent the whole like COVID generation with hardly next to nothing. Now,
Right.
yes, Sony's not putting out a whole lot either right now, and that's going to come back to kick them fucking guys in the teeth too if they're not careful. You can't like bring out 10 games one year and then fucking dry up for the next 6 or 7. It's not going to work like that. They have to manage it better, and I think a lot of these studios have got to start fucking hitting deadlines. It can't be this, well, we're aiming for 3 years, and then it turns into 5, and it turns into 7. And then you got fucking companies like Rare that fucking spent 7 years building fucking Sea of Thieves, broken as shit when it came out. And fucking since they made Sea of Thieves, they haven't made a fucking thing since. Right?
Oh,
This
yeah.
is the kind of bullshit I'm talking about. Right? You know, you got Playground Game pumping out a fucking game every fucking year or second year. And all of a sudden now they're taking a goddamn long ass time to do a fucking game. And Turn 10, they gave them like, oh, sky's the limit. You could take fucking 7 or 8 years now to build the next Forza, which should have been the definitive Forza game. Guess what? That comes out. Fucking tanks so fucking hard that they kill that. Like, does anybody realize it's more than $10 about the Game Pass? It's about closing studios, canceling the games, constant delay. It's just nothing but bullshit, one after another with Xbox, and you can't believe a damn word they say because it's all fucking lies. As much as I wanted to like Phil Spencer, and I don't think he's a bad person per se,
Right.
but I think right now, the business side of things is fucking tearing this company from the inside out, and I think it starts at the top and trickles down. Yeah, he's the face of the franchise. Him and Sarah Bond and Matt Booty, those are the three that will largely take the brunt of all of this, but I think it goes far deeper than them. I think at some point their hands were tied. I think they had a mission, but I think after they went back to the boardrooms, those missions got tossed in the toilet, and it was all about, I don't give a fuck what you do, but you're not doing this, because this is not going to make us the amount of money our investors want to see. And after the ABK thing went through, it only got worse because now they had to get all that return on investment. And guess what? Sometimes that takes a long fucking time, but it sounds like they wanted it all up front in the next, like, hey, as soon as that deal closed, we got to get this back in like 4 years. I don't know. Anyway, I'm ranting on, but man, it's this is disappointing.
Oh yeah, big time. And I actually have while we're live right now, people are messaging me on Xbox threatening me, so that's cool.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah. Noof, check your thing. Check where we message each other.
Okay, yeah, we'll do.
So yeah.
Who the hell?
So shout out to the Xbox community. Hey, you can threaten me all you want, but guess what, fuckers? When there's no console for you to buy in a couple of months or a couple of years or whatever, go fuck yourself. How about that?
Yeah. Well, you know what, too, Perry? A lot of them, right? They're all fake as fuck, just like the company, right? They all create all these fucking accounts. Right?
Yeah.
Create all these sock accounts and say shit to you.
That's all right. That's okay. That just shows how fucked up the community's become because guess what? 5 years ago, that would have been a PlayStation guy doing that shit. Now it's an Xbox guy doing it. So whatever. Hey, enjoy your Xbox, fuckface.
Yeah.
Pay your $30 a month and stick it up your ass. And next year, if they're even around by next year, make sure that you give them your $50 every month for a year. It's still the best deal in gaming.
Fucking just, I think a few months back, long before you even canceled Gaming After Dark, I was thinking about doing like this new, like, revamped and Xbox podcast. I think I was going to call it Xbox Universal or some fucking thing. And I'm like, man, glad I didn't go ahead with that fucking dumpster fire. Holy fuck, what would I be talking about? Hey, all the third-party games that are going to come out to everybody else's platform.
You'd be talking about the ROG. Come on.
Yeah, the ROG Ally. Everything's an Xbox. My asshole's an Xbox. My refrigerator's a fucking Xbox. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
The only people that gives a shit are the people that are too fucking scared that their channels are going to take a fucking shit. That's the only people. Lying out their assholes. They're over there sitting there too. They're fuming. Don't worry. They're inside. They're just as cooked as we are, but they're just like, well, man, I got to make sure that I still get my free games next month and that I don't lose fucking 40 subscribers and blah, 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 blah.
It's funny. I'm getting threatened. I'm getting threatened on this live while I just bought 2 Xbox games. What the fuck is that all about? And I bought the controller earlier, Heartbreaker. It's called Heartbreak Pink.
Yeah.
So there you go.
What, Jamie? Sony's a piece of shit too, bro. Like, they pulled some fucking shit ass moves. You know what? And I can tell you what's dead in my eyes with Sony. Like, if they decide they're going to come out with another fucking VR, as cool as I think VR is, they can stick their next VR up their fucking ass.
Oh yeah.
Because as far as I'm concerned, they haven't done fuck all with it. They're lying on third-party shit-ass games to carry it, and I spent a lot of money on that too, and it has been nothing but, like, cool, but fucking disappointing. Like, where is Sony's games for this fucking thing?
Yeah, I know. That's
right? Where's your games?
I called it a couple of years ago. I said they're not going to support this thing before it came out. And then, in 2023, I had really bad years, so I got one just to play Resident Evil 4 on it. And I was happy because it was the 2 games I wanted. It was Resident Evil Village and Resident Evil 4, so I was good. And I bought a couple other games like Star Wars. I never really played them yet. But yeah, I was good with that because I knew that they weren't really going to support it. But I was like, all right, I want to play those 2 games. I'm having a rough year. I'm just going to pick it up.
But see, like, those are also decisions that make no sense, Perry. Like, because, first of all, everybody knew that when PSVR launched, the price was way up there. It should have been lower.
Way up there.
We already had to spend a fortune on the console, and you're like, now you're asking people to spend more than the actual console on a peripheral. And if people know anything about video game history, accessories that typically sell for as much or more than your actual console are probably not going to do very well, because there's no fucking secret that the original PSVR did way better than the new one, right?
Yep.
Even though it's better hardware, I get it, but it didn't. So that's where we're at. And then if you are at least going to have the balls to put the fucking big price tag on anything, okay, I don't care if it's VR or not, you got to have something to back it up. You got to have some games that people go, damn, I'd buy that. Like back in the early days of consoles coming out, there was always those games that came out with a console that you went, I need that console because I need to play that game, and that game looks incredible. You don't see that as much anymore. A system seller, as they would call it. And we're not here to balk on Sony. I'm just saying, before people run off and go, you guys are all a bunch of Sony ponies, is that we also know that Sony is shady as fuck too. And I'll be ready to call them out at every step of the way. Hey, I called them out just recently with their new console revision is docking people back to 825 gigs. So for those of you guys who are following that, it's over in UK. I don't know if it's here in North. Yeah,
it went up already. Yeah, it went up on their website, right. The US website.
And all I'm getting is the PlayStation Defense Force now are going, oh well, it's just so they can keep the cost of the bullshit.
Fuck that. I mean, you're paying for it. You're paying more money for it, and you're getting less.
Yeah, sure. It might save them a couple of bucks on each console, but you're also now the market leader in console sales.
That's the thing. The PlayStation Defense Force, the PlayStation Defense Force. Well, it'll save the company money. What about me? What about saving me money? Yeah. You're charging me more money for less. You should be worried about you.
Yeah. And what's the obvious thing that any dumbass gamer can tell you is that what's the one thing we've been complaining with this generation probably more than anything is fucking storage.
Yeah.
All these goddamn games are fucking 60, 70, 80, 100, 120. Call of Duty is pretty much a hard drive in itself. And you're taking away the storage. Like, come on, dude. It's a gig now at a bare minimum. Come on, like you got your operating system that takes up 125 or 150 gigs right off the hop. So fuck off with cutting us back. I know it doesn't sound like a lot of memory, but it's still that's 3 or 4 more games. And again, at this point, you don't need to, right? Like you're making money on your fucking console. Your console's 5 years in right now, and this is the kind of bullshit you do. I know it's small chump change, okay, at the same time, but I'm just saying this is the kind of dirty tactics we're seeing, right?
Yep.
I was good to see Tim Dog come back, even if he had to come back to set the record straight on a few things.
Yeah, it was cool to see that. You know, here's the thing. We need to know this stuff as consumers. Like, somebody needs to blow the whistle. And the guy blew the whistle. He blew the whistle quite a while ago, and everyone shit on him. And now, the guy blew the whistle to let us know, like, hey, man, shit's going down. And again, I said when I started this, I said what's being reported and from what we're hearing and allegedly. Just saying that I said that. You can go back and listen. You can rewind it on YouTube, you know. Anyway. But yes, we need somebody to blow the whistle because we're spending money on this stuff.
I mean, a good question for you, and this could go for anybody in the chat as well, is can a company, when a company is sort of spiraling out of control, right? I mean, we see this with a lot of big corporations. It's not just in video games. We see this every couple of generations. Sometimes when leadership changes, they get a little too cocky. And that's usually where it starts. They start getting a little cocky. You start seeing a lot of money rolling in. But instead of making their products better, a lot of the ways that they start doing is how do we cut costs? Even though they're making a ton of money and they're probably having record profits. But that's where you start getting, and that's when the corporate greed gets a little bit out of control. Because instead of just like, yeah, we made $2 billion last year, but you know what? We could have made, I don't know, we could have made $3 billion if we probably cut about $1 billion off the operating budget. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is where it gets fucking stupid for these companies. I think this is in the case of Microsoft. We see it all the time in like restaurant business. Almost every business does this at some point because they got corporate cockfuckers that are in the boardrooms. That all they do is look at these fucking stock prices, but they're not really listening to the people on the street. Like, they need to go out there. Like, some of these fucking shit fucks that, wear these suits, they need to hit the streets, and they need to talk to actual gamers. I really don't think they do. I don't know. I'm like, are you tone deaf? Because we've been saying shit for years, and you go, these guys not listening to us. Like, they hear us, but they're hearing us, but they're not listening to us, or they don't care. They just think they're too big to fail. And that isn't the case, I don't know.
Yeah, they think they're too big to fail. I mean, it's a huge thing. Nobody pays attention. Everyone's tone deaf. Look at Microsoft. They laid off all those developers last year, the same day that they released the Feel the Burn fucking controller. It's like, dude, what are you guys doing? For real.
Sorry. Oh, back on that thought though, Perry, I was going to ask you guys.
Yeah.
Can a company recover from essentially like what you call a downward spiral or almost a suicide spin? And I want to say technically yes, because Microsoft, for the large part,
we've seen that, yes.
The past. Red Rings of Death. That could have destroyed the company. But you know why it didn't? Because somebody at Microsoft had the balls to suck it up and say, we're going to lose a ton of money.
Bomber and more.
We're going to gain the respect. We're going to gain the respect of our fans because we're going to do what's right by the fans by repairing these fucking things, even though it's going to cost us hundreds of millions of dollars. We're going to give them another Xbox. We're going to warranty their shit. We're going to extend the warranties. And we're going to show you that we care about you guys and we care about our product. And they kind of did, right? They salvaged that whole thing. Can it be done now? Yes. But I think it has to be done. I think they need to like do a stop. I think they should come out with more hardware, but they need to do a whole fucking revision, right?
Yeah.
And they really got to put someone in charge who, says what they means and means what they say. Broken promises aren't going to cut it, Let's get back to doing what you do well. Let's get games out, really good games, and then saying, you know what, we're going to go back to the exclusives. They're not coming to anything. Even if they go console exclusive for a fucking year and then it'll come to PC. No, like, what you do is make the people happy that built your brand. Make them happy first. Worry about the rest of it later. Get the guys on board that love your brand, that support your brand, have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, or at least thousands, on your products, that believe in you. And those guys will be on YouTube channels. They will be influencing the right people. Stop worrying about your Fortnite bucks and your Minecraft shit. That shit will take care of itself. Right. Start taking care of you to the hardcore shit, and then fucking come up with the right pricing scheme. Right? That's what you do. And you revamp it, I think it's doable. I think it gets harder and harder with every passing day, but I think they can, but they're not going to do it with the current people in charge. And if that means getting rid of Phil and Sarah and the whole nine, you clean the whole fucking house and you bring back in, even if temporarily, bring back a guy in like a Peter Moore or Steve Ballmer or someone of that ilk, someone that actually got some fucking balls, and people go, yeah, this feels like a Microsoft that's desperate and wants to prove themselves again like they were years ago, then you'd be like, yeah, I'm on board.
Right. Yeah, I think...
I don't think they can, though. I don't think they can. Personally, I think it's over. But
a company could recover from something fucked up. I mean, we've seen it before. It depends on how severe it is. But it seems like Microsoft is just done with this gaming thing. It seems like they're just done with the hardware bullshit. We talked about this all year. And if this is accurate, which we're going to find out again, allegedly, hello, does anybody hear what I'm saying here? Allegedly, we're going to find out sometime this coming week. We're going to have some sort of an official word. And we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I say that every week. I'm like, we don't know what the hell's going to happen with this thing. But hey, it seems like they don't want to be in the hardware anymore. We talked about that all year. And now it's coming out. Reports are coming out that this is what's happening. And we have to wait and see what they say. But it's not like we didn't expect this. We just didn't think it was going to happen this soon. But we're hearing tons of stuff. And that's what I'm here to talk about. Speculation.
So Perry, let me ask you, are you worried as well? I mean, obviously we can see by this stream, that you have got a massive amount of catalog here, a lot of games.
Yeah, and
are you worried about where a lot of that could potentially end up? Are you still going to have access to these games in a few years, regardless of what happens with Xbox? Because that's a great question that I worry about.
Well, it's hardware this year, and is it your library next year? That's what I wonder every fucking year.
I mean, we've heard guys in the community all the time go into their digital libraries and find out all of a sudden that games have just fucking magically disappeared. I don't know if you've ever had it happen to you, but I've had fucking shit pop off of my hard drive, and I'm pretty sure I didn't hit the delete button. I'll be like, where the fuck is that game I had? I'm pretty sure I own it. I have it somewhere, and all of a sudden it's not in the fucking downloads. It's not in my hard drive. Yeah, I go back through my history and I can probably find it, but it's not there.
That happened with Doom 1 and 2 a few years ago when they remastered them. They took out the 360 versions and people got mad and they put them back.
Now, whether that's a glitch or it's intentional, I don't know. But I have heard people say that some of their digital stuff would just miraculously go fucking missing every once in a while.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But that was like the only time. The only other time recently was Modern Warfare 3. We purchased that game. And they took it out of the Call of Duty app and made it its own thing. But I guess they couldn't figure out how to link it to its own thing. So they took it out of everyone's library. you could still, if you bought it, you still quote own it, but they made
Right.
it free for everyone because they couldn't figure out how to link it back to accounts. So you just, if you type it in, it says it's free to download for anybody. So you download it again and you own it again. So it went back in my library after they took it out because they didn't know how to link it from the store when they took it out of the whatever that thing is called, the hub.
So you acknowledge on our good buddy Talus in the chat, right? He
Right.
says Nutella is the problem. Obviously, Satya Nadella, but we like to call him Nutella because he is practically a nut. His problem is the AI crap on his brain, and I think he's partly right there.
No, it's
I think a lot of
100%.
it is the focus of that. But that's the thing, right? That in itself is infuriating because this AI thing, is it really because you think it's going to make our lives better or our products better? No. At the end of the day, the reason they're all rushing for that
money.
is because they can fucking cut out half of their employees with that shit. And they can make shit faster and get rid of the workforce. Holy fuck, dude, is this ever a snow shitstorm?
Yeah.
Right?
It's all about making money, who can get there first. And like you said, they're going to lay off all the employees. And that's the whole thing. Like, this is funny because it literally is like a Skynet situation. Like, they want the computer to do everything for everyone.
Yeah, I was going to say probably 20 years. The only person who's going to have a job with computers is the guy that actually maintains or updates the AI algorithms and shit. That's about it. Everybody else will be just unemployed. Just guys that can do maintenance. Anybody that's a creator, man, your shit's really in trouble now because we've seen all the videos that go around online, and it's insane how they can take a person and make it look like you're doing shit and talking and shit. It's crazy, like and look just like the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's wild. 5 or 6 years, we won't be able to discern what's reality from, what's fake and what's real, right? I mean, it's getting hard now, even so.
Yeah, I know. I just saw a video of Tupac showing up on WWF Raw from like the 90s, and he called out Biggie Smalls, and it was like, wow, that's a great AI video. I wish that was real back in the 90s because that feud would have been crazy.
Right.
But
oh my god,
yeah,
I hear you, man.
Yeah, it's just that's what they're doing. They're all chasing the next big thing. It's like the .com bubble. I know for people that weren't around back then. In the 90s, everyone was buying up websites. And then in the 2000s, the bubble burst. And that was it. Same thing with social media. All these social media things, the bubble is pretty much burst on those too because there's so many platforms now. But Facebook was like the big one at one point. And then Twitter came along, and then all that stuff is going down. So there's a million different platforms for that. But I mean, the AI is it's big business for a lot of these corporations, and that's what they want. Yeah. And that's fine if they want to do that. I mean, that's up to them. I don't work there. What the fuck do I care? But when you're selling me video games, it's like, okay, if you're gonna do that, leave that shit alone. Just put that's a little part of the company or whatever. You want to keep making games? Fine. If you don't want to, fine. Just come out and tell everybody. But you know what? I'll give Google Stadia one fucking thing, okay? I never had Google Stadia, never tried it. Let me tell you something. What did Google Stadia do the minute that they said, fuck it, we're done? They refunded every motherfucker that bought anything on their goddamn store. Google refunded everyone all of their money back. Is Microsoft going to do that? Fuck no.
Yeah.
Because Google was embarrassed that they took money from people to do the gaming thing. It didn't work out. Google said, you know what, man? We can't look bad. Let's just pay everyone back. We're going to take the massive hit. And that's it. It was over. That's not going to happen here. They're just going to decide one day, yeah, we'll leave it on for we don't know how long. And then one day they'll wake up and be like, hey, you know what? Turn that shit off. It's costing too much money.
Yeah.
And that's it. So,
yeah.
And
the whole ABK stuff. I mean, this stuff now looks like there's a lot more underlying messages. Like, I don't know what their real intent was when they started. Obviously, we all said a large part of it was to get the mobile stuff, right? The branch in the mobile, which, yes, I think a large part of it was, but I think there's a lot of things going on. I think it was also to ensure the survival of Microsoft, who already knew at that point in time that they were probably intending perhaps to become more of a publisher or a third party of that space. I think they'd already made up their decision that the hardware side of things wasn't going to be a bread and butter solution for them, and it wasn't going to turn around anytime soon. Obviously, Game Pass was that shot in the dark. That was their shot at the bullseye. It
Right.
didn't land where it wanted. It's yeah, sure, it's made them money, but I mean, by now you'd think this thing would be like, you'd think this would be. They thought Game Pass was going to sell the hardware like crazy. They thought Game Pass would probably be at least in the 75, 100 million homes by now, one way or the other, between PC, console, whatever, and it didn't. So I think this is what happened. When that bubble burst on them, they kind of deflected and had to figure out. So right now they look at ABK as a cash cow just to stay active in the space of software, right? In the software game. And I don't think they're even caring about their own anymore because their own division's bleeding money. Their own division is not pumping out any games here. This is the problem. They're paying a lot of money. They're paying money, and we're not even seeing a game. I mean, how much money do you think they spend on the initiative? And we're not even going to see a product from those fucking guys.
Right.
So that's money in the toilet. That's like literally fucking throwing the money in the toilet and flushing it. We're not going to see a product, not even one, to come out and say, well, this is what you've been doing for the last 7 years. How many other studios are under Microsoft's umbrella now that they're starting to look at and go, holy fuck, guys, like, you've been at this shit 7 years now and you haven't produced fucking nothing. And then when you do produce shit half the time, we get shit like Grounded, like, I don't know, like fucking a fraction of the shit that we're supposed to get, right? Even fucking Ninja Theory's kind of been like fucking dog under fucking dicks ever since they, ever since they fucking got bought by Microsoft, right?
Right.
Put out Hellblade 2. That was developed for several years. It took longer for them to do Hellblade 2 than they did the first Hellblade. And Hellblade 2 comes out and it's like that's it? That's all you got for fucking what? What'd you do? Spend like 3 years just working on the graphics or something? Because there isn't a whole lot of game here. It was decent, don't get me wrong. I liked it, enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was like the sequel it should have been. But I think they're just surviving their software survival. They know that's where the bread and butter is for them. They don't give a shit about us. I think they're just pissing us off on a point now. It's better to piss us off like this and get us mad and get everybody to kind of leave and just close the door in your face. It's kind of like, yeah, you don't really care at this point because they've already fucking stepped on our toes a billion times, right?
Well,
so
they could have put a positive spin on it. They could have said, hey, guys, listen, we're going to finish out this generation and the next gen starting in 2026. We're going to transition over to our hybrid or whatever the hell they want to call the next machine. And again, now we don't even know if that's coming out. I'm sure that they're going to let us know, but you never know. Hey guys, we're going to transition over. We're going to do the hybrid thing. You're going to be able to access all your games on and Steam library and all this other shit, blah, 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 blah. They could have come out looking like $1 million. People would have been like, all right, whatever. This gen is coming to a close. It's 5 years. It's not a big deal. Like they did with the One X.
Yeah.
The One X was the apology console. Everyone fucking bought it. And they were like, okay, this still has a Jaguar core. Some of the games run great. Some of the games still run like shit. It'll buy us until the next machine comes out, which is a Series X. It was great. Yeah. It was fine. It wasn't a big deal because they were honest with everybody about it. And they could have put a positive spin on next gen and just moved everyone over that way. Instead, they've done everything they could do to fuck it up.
And that's it. Then they're just going to they'll try to keep their brand alive by just putting their stamp on everything, but they really don't have it. Just like, again, the ROG Ally. They're just putting a stamp on it. It's like a lazy way out. It's like, why didn't you guys just build one yourself? Well, why should we? Why should we spend money to build hardware? We'll just get Asus to fucking swallow that part of the deal.
Right.
And we'll help them promote it and shit. And maybe the Xbox name will get more people to buy it because it's got Xbox associated with it, but it's not
exactly
really technically an Xbox, right? And we'll just keep doing this fucking shit. And it'll be on a television set. The next thing you know, you're going to see those fucking Roku things will come with some kind of Xbox bullshit built in, some version of Game Pass, one way or the other. All these games, I don't know. That's what it is. It's just they're just walking away from us, man.
Yeah, I don't get it. To me, it's self-sabotage. It's like they're saying, "Fuck it, like leave. Whoever wants to stay, stay. Whoever wants to leave, get the fuck out." You know what I mean? That's what it seems like they're doing.
Yeah, and it's funny, right? Because, when all this started changing, right? You start looking back now at the clock, and it starts becoming more obvious by the day, right? Because you had the exodus of Mike Ibarra, then fucking Rod Ferguson just, after a very successful Gears and stuff, he just kind of fucks off. And then even Pete Hines, right? Pete Hines, fucking face of Bethesda all these years. Fucking every time he does a show, it's Pete Hines up on the stage. Guess what? He's not even at Xbox, a fucking year, 2 years? And then he fucks off. It's like, why is Bonnie Ross, The list goes on. Like A-list names that the game community recognize, are all just fucking exiting this company.
Right.
Like something had. I think we were just kind of looking at it through a narrow glass at the time. Well, this one's
We have no
value.
idea what really
No.
happened over there.
Yeah, there's definitely some shit. There's more than just guys saying, "Yeah, I'm kind of been at this for 30 years and I'm fucking retiring." They got cushy paychecks over there, I'm sure, and they're just like, again, that's the difference. Some of them knew they were far enough ahead they could leave,
Right,
and do it with some integrity. And some of them got no fucking integrity because they don't know what it is. And a lot of the Xbox community, and I've started to find this out over the last year, a lot of you fucking guys in the podcast community have no fucking integrity either. You really don't. You think you're all high and mighty and noble because you guys, I can call out some names. I can point one right now, like fucking guys like Dirk Griggity and whoever the fuck you are, right? All acting all righteous and shit, making your cocksucking videos about every other YouTuber when you're just as bad as the people you call out, right? Right?
Yeah, I guess I never heard of that guy, but
No, look, and I got no hate for anybody here. I'm just saying, like, I see it because they've been calling me out, but I'm a grifter. I'm like all those other guys that went over to PlayStation. All of a sudden, you're just a fake Xbox. I don't know what the fuck.
I've owned every console since they've come out, so I don't know what this whole thing is with grifting and all this bullshit. I see that from a lot of these big YouTuber guys. It's like, okay, you got like I don't know, 1 million subscribers, but only fucking 15 people in your chat room. Like, what's that all about?
Exactly.
So what's that? I'm a little guy. Who cares about me? No one cares about what I'm saying. Who cares? Like the guy that messaged earlier. Who am I? I'm nobody big. Who gives a shit? Nobody's listening to me. You don't like what I have to say? Stop watching. It's not a big deal.
My channel is small, but as small as it might be, a lot of the major names in the Xbox community, a lot of the guys in the podcast community, they did know who Noof Nukem was.
Oh yeah, right? No, I used to watch all your stuff, man.
Because I've been on a lot of podcasts with some of the bigger guys. Like I said, I've done stuff with Tim Dog, and I've done stuff with RDX, and I've done stuff with Mooch and Crap, and I've done stuff with a lot of great guys. But that's besides the point. I'm just saying this, like, they're just one. They all, like I said, the one thing you see over the years too, that I'm a gaming fan. I like Xbox, but I play on everything. Do you really? Because as much as you tout that you have all these consoles, when I look at your timeline, and I can at least go by social media or your videos posted, it's always on one console only. Like if you post something that they follow me, they say, well, yeah, this is a great PlayStation game, but they never see them say that. You never see them post anything about a PlayStation game that they played, other than when the game comes out, they might go, yeah, it got reviewed good or something. And then there's nothing. Right? Where you see me, you'll see me playing an Xbox game, then you'll see me playing a fucking PlayStation game, you'll see me playing Nintendo games, you see me playing everything, and I'm promoting everything. Like, I'll tweet out something, that big thing with Nintendo, I'll tweet out something from PlayStation, I'll tweet out something from Xbox. It's all the brands, but these guys are brand-centric only. Everything that they do revolves around that one brand that they push. That's it. Like I said, I'm not here to make your podcast tonight about other YouTube. I really don't want to even get into that conundrum. I kind of hate that shit, to be honest with you. But I'm just saying, they keep coming. They started coming after me, and especially when the Game Pass thing. I think this is what happened when the Game Pass thing really started to become true. Because I've always called out Game Pass. I've always hated it from day one because I hate what it represents. Right from day one. I hate what it represents. It's not about the value of the money. I can afford Game Pass. Somebody said, if you too broke to afford Game. No, it got fucking nothing to do with the money of affording anything.
Right.
I don't like what it represented. And I knew that the shit that we're in right now, this would be the result of that model.
Yep.
And look, there's enough negativity on Game Pass from the developers and the publishers that when you see, if this was the home run that everybody constantly says that it was or is, why do we see so much pushback from developers on this? Don't you think everybody would be dying to put their games into this service? No, because for all the developers it works for, and it's mostly the indie ones, it does not work for the bigger guys who stand to make a lot more by selling their game at 60, 70, or 80 bucks in the fucking store or on the digital store. Bottom line.
Yeah, no, I hear.
Right? And Microsoft pushed this shit so hard that it forced the other companies who had no intention of going this route. Sony's intention, I honestly believe, was not even to have a competing service like Xbox. they started to get a little bit nervous because they started to see Xbox was having success here.
Yeah.
So they're like, man, we gotta kind of at least keep pace, or we could get lost in the flood.
And that fucked up the whole PlayStation 5
Right.
gen because Jim Ryan went for the live
Yeah.
service stuff, and that's not
Yeah.
where they should have gone.
And that's what Sean Layden said, correct?
Yeah, you know, I'm not a fan of Sean Layden, but I mean, he was right on that
Neither.
because you have to
That's
do
what he was telling.
when you're a different company, you got to do. Microsoft always did the live service stuff good, like they did it the best. Xbox Live was the best service. Blah blah blah. PlayStation, their games, variety games, like those are the games that they should have been making. They should never have jumped into live service. Have a couple of live service games, fine, but the single player over the shoulder camera thing, that was okay for one generation, but they did it for 3 generations straight. It's like, dude, you guys gotta change it up. Well, then we're gonna compete and do live service. No, don't do that. Like, go back to variety. And that's what fucked up PlayStation this gen. PlayStation didn't find its identity because they're too busy trying to compete with Microsoft, who just let them do that. Let them do the live service stuff. They're good at it. Nintendo's not good at it, so they're not gonna fucking try. They're gonna keep making Mario games. You know what I mean? They're not going to jump into fucking Call of Duty competitors and all this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nintendo does what they do. Sony needed to figure out their place, do what they do, and Microsoft was just doing what they do anyway, and that's fine.
Well, that's the thing with Nintendo. They get away with it because they refuse to devalue their own software no matter what happens or how much people bitch about it.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
It's
true.
obviously been proven that they can sell their games at full price for 5 years after launch. And as much as we bitch about it, they will continue to sell because people know what they're getting with Nintendo, and it's never been a question, right? They're not the best company by any means. They're fucking leeches like the rest of them. They got the worst online, but also their online is still extensionally cheaper than their competitors at this point. And you know, like I said, the only thing that's holding Nintendo back has always been sort of the fact that their hardware can't keep up with the kind of games that they really need on their system to be bigger than just their own first party. Like Nintendo's large success is from their own catalog, right?
Yes.
But they need to get third parties, and third parties can't just get by. Like this has to change for Nintendo for them to be like ultra successful. Is that their third parties need to thrive, and unfortunately, a lot of them couldn't do it because Nintendo's never given them hardware that can play like these games adequately. You know, most real gamers, I shouldn't say, I don't like, oh, I shouldn't, let me reword that because that's not true. But most gamers, obviously, we want a certain level of graphic fidelity and performance. That's why we spend the money we do, whether it's on the top console or on a PC. And then you go over to Nintendo, and there's a lot of sacrifices there. And again, but most of the time we've been happy just because Nintendo kind of gives us their games and they generally run pretty good. But wouldn't it be nice to have a Nintendo console that can run the bigger games and still run them, you know, fairly decently, right? Like steady 30 frames at least, or 60 when possible, and just look a lot better. And they need to get those games to be successful. They're going to need to get a Call of Duty on there at some point that really like is a good game and it looks good and plays good. And they're going to need to get a full line of support from EA. You know, Nintendo can't just kind of keep getting by with the skin of their own teeth. Well, probably they will.
No way.
But I like to see a lot more support, and guys have to get out there and support those games too. Like they have to buy them. And this whole key card conundrum, that's a fucking setback.
Right.
Whether they're going to change it or not, I highly doubt it. But I think that's a bit of a setback because they could look. The bottom lines are going to sell games. We know that they're still going to sell digital games. But they could be selling a lot more games if they just put them on the disc. Like, otherwise, get rid of the stupid cases. Just get them out of the fucking stores because it makes no sense.
Right. That's what I always.
Right?
I always said that because they're doing the key cards mainly because of piracy. The Switch 1 got hacked really bad in the beginning,
Right.
and a lot of third-party developers lost a lot of money because a lot of people were just downloading games on those things. And I don't think they want to take that chance again. So they're telling a lot of these third parties. Like, hey, you know, if you feel comfortable, just do the digital card or whatever. And yeah, it sucks for collectors
because the file sizes are too
cool.
large. The file sizes are too large for some of the cards. And second of all, it's just they got to manufacture that shit too, and they got to put it on there. So there's manufacturing dollars, which is why you know, Switch games generally were always more expensive if you bought them on a cartridge, or I like still like to call it cartridge, but if you bought, you know what I'm saying, if you bought it on that little card as opposed to getting a digital copy, which a lot of times they took off what, 5 or 10 or $20 cheaper in some cases,
Right.
right?
Yeah, Nintendo's still doing Nintendo practices like they did in the 80s and 90s. They're charging the companies more money for the, you know, if you need to use more chipset, they're going to charge you more money. You need to use cartridges, they're going to charge you more money. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what they do. They've been doing that forever. So it's just Nintendo being Nintendo.
But it is Nintendo being Nintendo. Like, for example, shooters are popular, but you don't see Nintendo going out and busting their hump trying to make a Call of Duty knockoff game.
Right.
Right?
They just stick to their Metroid, which was never a shooter in the beginning, but they transformed it, and that's it. That's their one shooter. That's Metroid. That's it.
They don't stray away from the formula. I'm not, like, you know, if you're going to add studios, it would be nice to see Nintendo gamble a little bit, but again, those are risks that Nintendo's like, you know what? The third-party companies are doing that just fine, and we're doing just fine with our own outputs, our own IPs that are always tried and true, and they're probably going to continue to be tried and true 20 years down the road. Like, that's just the way they are. And now with, you know, Nintendo World's popping up and movies coming out, and the second Mario movie coming out, like, they, you know, as much as we get mad at them, they know what they're doing, they know their audience, and they're giving you a good product, like it or not. Is it overpriced? Sure, but well, the way everything's going right now, what's overpriced? Because everything's fucking overpriced.
Right.
And it all starts with one, and then everybody gets greedy, and they just say, yeah. And like I said, COVID upset the entire, and it's every industry. It's not just the gaming industry, but COVID really fucked everybody up.
Right.
It inflated profits, it inflated a lot of industries, and now they set those unrealistic targets, and some guys can't get away from it. Some of these top heads are like, oh, we have to hit these targets because it can be done. No, because everybody was fucking home, and everybody's stuck in front of their TVs, bored shitless. You didn't want to let us go out anywhere. We couldn't visit people. We couldn't actively go to stores. So this is what we were left with. We had no choice. That's why it was so big. But now they don't want to seem to come back. And like my boss, even at my work, we had some of our record years too in the sporting goods business. But we're like, those were anomaly years. We have to forget those existed. We have to come back to pre-COVID and use those as our metrics to gauge our success, right?
Yeah.
So, but some people don't want to get away from it. The movie industry is another one that's hanging on by a thread, right? And they started learning this. Is you can't take a big movie, put it in the theater, and then stick it on a streaming service at the same time or like just weeks after. Same reason Netflix is not sticking in like big studio. Well, the studios aren't supplying Netflix, but movies that come out in the theater day one, because that would be suicide.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Yes, I mean, all this stuff, you know, it affects everything. When it just sucks. You know, we're Xbox fans. I bought a fucking Xbox controller today. You know, I have to fucking keep saying this because nobody pays attention. It seems to be a big problem in this community. You go downstairs in my house, I have over 100, well, maybe not over 100, but maybe around 100 Xbox controllers. And about 99% of them are sealed, by the way. Just saying. Like I wasn't collecting them or using them or whatever. I'm spending money on this stuff. All down the toilet, I guess. I don't know. Is Milkman still here?
No, he left. He left ages ago.
He left.
He left.
I'm still here.
You're still here?
You're still here. Huh?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You have anything to say? You never.
Last time I looked, he was out. So I don't know. It was weird.
He So he never got to buy a Series X, and now he's never gonna buy one.
Yeah, never, hell no, not for no $800. Hell no.
He didn't have the money when it was $400.
It was
so now they priced you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And isn't that funny? Xbox made a phenomenal piece of kit. And that's the one thing nobody really argued with. The Xbox Series X, well designed, functional, fast. Graphics are good. Performance generally was good across the board, unless something wasn't optimized. But that's one area nobody really complained about. And here we are, right?
Yeah.
Go figure. They get their fucking hardware right, and they decide we're basically getting rid of the hardware. Like, what the fuck, guys?
Dude, last gen they had the games, and you know, all the companies and everybody had all the games, but the hardware was shit because they had that Jaguar chip and everything was running, you know, between 30 and all this other stuff, or below 30. And I was like, all right, man, come on. They got to do something better. Now they got the hardware on both sides, and the games just aren't coming out, or they're coming out broken, and shit's not working. It's just not cool, man. I don't know what happened.
Yep.
These things are supposed to get better, not worse.
So y'all don't see y'all don't potentially see, since the Saudis bought EA, you don't see them buying Xbox?
Anybody could buy Xbox, so I don't know.
Yeah, anything's possible, dude. Anything's possible.
I wish Atari had the money, but I don't think Atari's got billions of dollars like that, because Atari's starting to buy a bunch of stuff. They're buying a bunch of old IPs and stuff. So, you know,
at this point, the Saudis are the only one who could afford it. They could pretty much afford anything at this point.
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, maybe Sega and Xbox should team up, and then we could call it the Sexbox.
Yeah, I know, right? That Xbox Series.
Right? Take out the G and A of the Sega and add an Xbox. You get Sexbox.
Yeah,
that's my prediction. Is that the Saudis will buy Xbox?
It might happen, man. You never know. Anybody could buy it. Anybody with the cash.
Yeah.
I
definitely think there's some big news coming, and I definitely think the axe is soon going to fall, because if this thing's bleeding money, and the scariest part now, like I said, is watching retailers ditch this thing at a record pace. Like, if you can't find them in the stores, that's not a good look, right? That's really like, yeah, it's done. Like, if you're taking them out and those guys are selling off their stock, like that's.
Oh no, Noof! They've been sold out all year for Christmas. Come on.
Yeah.
Or do you see Sony pulling a Vince McMahon and buying Xbox?
They can't afford it.
No.
They can't afford it. And what are they going to do with all that stuff? They can't even get their own games out. Imagine it's going to be like, they're literally going to be like Xbox. They're going to buy this shit, now have their stuff come out, have the other stuff come out, and they can't manage it all. Forget it. It's just not the way it's going to go down.
I could see them selling things off in packages to different people. Like Tencent was probably going to buy up some shit.
Yeah, I mean,
so you see Sony buying anything from Xbox if they sell it off, like buying Halo.
They'd want to buy one of their multiplayer. Whoever's the most successful multiplayer studios, who Sony would go for at R.I.P, because that's the area that Sony is struggling in, is getting a hit multiplayer game.
Well, here's the thing: they probably wouldn't even have to buy it, because whoever ends up buying it, those studios are probably going to get closed down before it gets purchased anyway. So all those devs are going to probably just go to Sony anyway, and then they could start something new over there. That's the whole thing. Like, you got a lot of guys that are, even the people that were fired this year, they're still looking for jobs. They're going to create smaller studios. Those studios are going to get picked up by Sony. They're going to get picked up by other companies. You know what I mean? Like, this is what happens.
So Perry, Stevie Mac is offering you 2 turkey and cheese sandwiches, a bag of barbecue chips, and a Yoo-hoo for an Xbox.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll hold off on the barbecue chips, but yeah, that sounds good.
All right, so what's the better chance of happening? Xbox going the way of Sega, or somebody buying Xbox?
They can't go the way of Sega, because Sega died with dignity and class. Xbox is just fucking dying.
Oh, yeah.
Horribly. You know, in South Park, the zombie episode, where the guy is like, the zombies are going to get the guy, so he takes his weapon and he tries to off himself, and he's trying like 85 times and he can't do it. Like, that's Xbox right now.
Shout out to my good buddy, middle-aged game guy, because he did a video on this whole thing. I think it was yesterday, and it was funny because I love the way he started his his video. He had the clip of Sancho Bob stepping on. I don't know if you remember the one from Simpsons where he keeps stepping on the rakes.
Yeah.
He goes, right. So he starts off with that, and then Mooch goes, Mooch, my God, middle-aged gamer goes, I don't know whoever's selling rakes to Microsoft, but they must be making a fortune.
Oh yeah. He's not lying.
I was like, that's fucking funny, because they really have been stepping on the rakes, man.
Yeah, and
Some of us had the foresight, right? Some of us had the foresight. Tim Dog, obviously one of them. And again, this is something that people misconstrued with us, right? They think that we're just bitter and we're like this. We're trying to do this like clickbaity thing or something.
They're never going to listen.
Xbox right?
Yep.
But no, I can't, and I hear it in your voice, Perry. And this is the thing, and I hear it in the panel. Like I hear it, Proto, and I hear it with Hot, and I hear it from a lot of us regular Xbox Joes. Like what I hear is I hear a lot of disappointment. I hear how they brought us to a pinnacle and they let us down royally. Like I mean, we're not talking. This is not 10 years ago. We're talking like at the start of this gen, there was a lot of optimism. That's why we went out and bought these Series X's, right? We were optimistic that Microsoft was dedicated to turning things around and competing in the traditional sense.
Right.
Right? That's what we thought. I think a lot of us do. And they promised some good games and stuff like that, and then of course everything got delayed. But that's what we thought we were getting. And then they just kind of turned and did this whole thing. It's like even when Phil goes, and like I said, the beginning of the end, I think really started with that interview where he said it's just the 4 games. I think that was the warning sign. That was a shot across the bow for us. That was like, oh, I know where this is going. It's just 4.
That was the beginning of the end. Because even when I went on Gaming Fuse with you and Mental, when you guys first had me on, you guys were like, oh, what do you think about exclusive or whatever? And I was like, well, it's not really my place to say that because these companies are going to make decisions. And, you guys were like, oh, they kind of need, and you're right. They do need their exclusive because you got to draw people into your platform and your ecosystem. But for me, because I grew up with everything, like all the consoles, it didn't matter where I played fucking games. Because breaking news, when I had Sega Genesis, I bought Power Rangers the movie. When I had Super Nintendo, I bought Power Rangers the movie. Back then, same name, different game, but I was used to that. I was used to buying a game on multi-platform, on multi-platforms. So for me, it was never a big deal, but I understand what you guys are saying. Like the minute that they start doing this stuff, that's a sign. That's a sign of, I don't know if it's weakness, but it's a telling sign that like, okay, somebody's easing up here and this is competition and you can't really ease up right now. Like when they bought, Microsoft won. They won this generation. I'll tell you why. They bought ABK, right? All they had to fucking do was walk out of court. They lied anyway. All they had to do was walk out of court and be like, Call of Duty's only on Xbox. Fuck you. Boom. Done. They won the generation right there. But they didn't do that.
That's it. Exactly.
That was a death blow.
Like I said, I know in a perfect world, that might have been one of the things that was tossed around. That's what perhaps they would have liked to have had. It's exclusivity on Call of Duty because that would have been a real winner for them. For them.
Yep.
But they didn't want to come out and look like the bad guys here. They were so afraid of being villainized by the community and by the other side of the game community, and obviously by Lena Khan and her trolls over at that. Right? That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid they're going to be villainized.
Right.
For what? For competing or wanting to compete, and that's why Sony got. That's exactly why Jim Ryan and Sony and them got their panties up in a knot. It had nothing to do with anything other than they didn't want exclusive rights to fucking go to Xbox.
Exactly.
The marketing rights alone was massive win for them, and they did not want that. That's all it was about. Anybody could see through that. It wasn't about who benefits the gamers. Xbox knew it would definitely benefit the Xbox ecosystem and its brand, and it would certainly benefit Game Pass exponentially. Game Pass probably would have exploded, right?
Right.
Now it exploded the opposite way where, it's in Game Pass, but now it actually, like what they're saying, that cost them $300 million or something like that. Yeah, because you lost out on, first of all, you lost on several million sales from the Xbox community, who notoriously, if there's one game that we know Xbox community guys have always bought, has been Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Right?
The 360 was a Call of Duty box.
Call of Duty, like, even if there's only 40 million fucking Xbox Series consoles out there, I guarantee you that probably like of that 40 million, there's like 30 million of them probably buying Call of Duty. So you put that in Game Pass, and now you're probably down to about 5 million people, and that's probably like the physical idiots like me that got to have it on disc or whatever, right? The rest were playing it in Game Pass. So, like, how did you not know this was not technically going to shortfall your supply? The PlayStation guys doing it and bought it, they had no choice. They couldn't get it on Game Pass. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that Game Pass was going to do really good with Call of Duty on there last year. I mean, we all did. It was, shockingly, it was the best Call of Duty in a while last year. And everyone was like, all right, cool. They're going to do really good with this. And we even said that on the show. We're like, yeah, it's in Game Pass, but you know what? They're gonna make money on the Vault package or whatever the hell that thing is called, the add-on, play the game early and all that bullshit. They're gonna do a lot of money, and it seemed like they did. But now we're finding out it was the opposite, and it was like, okay, well, it looks like it wasn't as great as it seemed. But again, I don't even listen. I don't care how much money the company makes. When people talk about this shit, I don't care. I care about what I'm getting out of it because I already put money in it. So if the company makes a ton of money, great. That means we're going to get better games and everything's going to work out. But if a company doesn't make money, it's like, well, that's their problem. It's not my problem. I don't care what they're doing in their office. Like, what the fuck, bro?
But see, that's the thing, and that's how some people in the Xbox community started deflecting too. You know, we always said the PlayStation guys moved the goalposts. Well, sorry,
they did a lot.
Moved over on this side of the fence, and they did, and they still do.
Yep.
But it was moved over on this side too, because it started when Microsoft first started that whole shit where they stopped the closing the numbers, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't have a metric to gauge against, so the metric became how much money they're making. And now every time, if you're arguing with somebody in the Xbox community, like the big YouTubers or whatever, or their followers, the first thing they come back with is how much money fucking Microsoft made. What the hell does that got to do with the price of tea in China? How much money they make? The bottom line is money doesn't necessarily mean that something is overall successful.
Right.
And because there's also so many ways that they're making money. Like, you know, everybody brings up the whole Microsoft is this $1 trillion company. You know, they're not a $1 trillion company because the Xbox made them that way.
Right.
They're a $1 trillion company because Windows, because of fucking Windows.
Yep.
That's been their bread and butter for years. The Xbox division in the game. That's a small drop in the bucket for them. This is fucking chump change.
Right.
Right. But that's the problem. This has been bleeding more money than they're technically making and bringing in. And when you're bleeding, you know, $200 and $300 million for a game that takes 7 years, well, that's a fucking long time to wait for a return on investment. This is the problem at Xbox. Again, this is what I said earlier on the show. The problems here start right with the studios. They were mismanaged. They were underrun. I don't say they're underfunded because Microsoft's always tossed whatever they wanted. The resources, the money has been there. But what the fuck has been going on at the studios? The studios were supposed to make games to make Game Pass super lucrative and super attractive. But they haven't. This year, like literally, you think about it, Game Pass has been out how many years now? 5 years? 6 years?
Yeah, I think 7 years or 8 years, something like that. Right? I don't remember.
And this has been the first year that they really had like games that were kind of coming out like quarterly. That was the goal all along. Like every month or every 2 months, they were supposed to have like a new game dropping. They're touting this now with Game Pass with 75 day one games, 75 watt day one games. Certainly not coming from Xbox. You're going to have what? 5 games if you're lucky from Xbox's first party studios and the other 70 are fucking indie games? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is right now. I barely use Game Pass because of the indie stuff. There's tons of indie games. There'll be a couple of big games that I'll check out, but there's too many little games in this thing. It's like they're just throwing filler in there, and it's like, what are you doing?
When I had Game Pass Ultimate, I'm looking through that whole fucking list, and I'm basically looking at about 90% of it. I'm like, fuck that.
And listen,
fuck that. I wouldn't play that.
If people like them, that's great, but that's not what I originally paid for, because originally it was supposed to go to blockbuster games and stuff like that, like the big games. But over time, it's diluted itself, and that's great for other people if they want to play that stuff. But I don't. I want to play the big stuff, and they just haven't been releasing the big stuff until this year. This year, they released a lot of stuff.
Here's the $1 million question. Here's the $1 million question. I'm going to ask it to myself, and I'll ask it to you guys, both you and MILFman there. What would make you happy from Xbox right now? Because I can tell you what would make me happy. I'm not against Game Pass per se, but all I need from Game Pass, give me those. I don't need your 700 games. But you know what? I would love to have your day one games from your first party studios, because most of them, whether they're Microsoft games, like, you know, the Xbox studios or whatever,
right?
Give me that, and give me my multiplayer so I can play with my friends. That's all I need. I don't need any of your free shit. I don't need your discounts on DLC. Just give me my fucking Halo, my Gears, my Forza. If you want to put that in there day one, charge me $10 a fucking month, and give me my fucking multiplayer. Because that's what pissed me, and that's when my shit started to change. When you haul away games, look, we always know that wasn't Xbox Live Gold, right?
Yeah.
Always know that was going up and up and up in price. And remember the first time that we already had that breakdown moment? Remember everybody in the podcast, including myself, did it when they were going to up the price of Game Pass or Xbox Live Gold? Remember
Yeah.
that? And
Yeah.
everybody got up against them. And Microsoft rolled that shit back like what? Within a day, they were like, "No, we're going to roll it back." So what happened there? They were listening pretty intently, right? But then they decided they would, oh, we're just going to get rid of that tier altogether because it makes no sense, and we're going to bundle it into Game Pass, but we're not going to make it any better for the people who are Gold users. We're going to make it technically worse.
Right.
Because we're going to take out, we're not going to give you even the 2 free games a month anymore. We're going to give you 25 absolutely lousy fucking games. The games that are good, most like everybody under the sun owns them, like Halo Master Chief Collection or something, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to pay like 30% more for that. Because I went from paying $49 to $59 to $69 to now it's like I think to buy it now as it is, unless I can get a discounted card. The Game Pass core up until this change is like $100 and something bucks Canadian, right?
Yeah.
And I'm virtually getting nothing. So $100 and something bucks essentially for me just to play online with my buddies, which is kind of what it always was. But the price increase wasn't justified in my personal opinion. Why didn't you, like a lot of people I'm hearing saying right now, like Xbox, why don't you just make the online free, period? Get rid of it. You don't do it for the PC guys. Why do you do it for the console crowd? Right?
Yeah. Well, because
So
they
that's
know
what would make me happy.
they know if they did that on PC that wouldn't fly with PC users. There'd be a huge uproar because it just would be a huge thing. Their service would be dead if they did that. Anyway, what would make me happy, and I know this is asking for a lot, but I'm a guy that bought 16 of these fucking things. Okay?
Hey, at least you got a bunch in case they shit the bed and you don't have to warranty them.
Well, I guess so. And you know what? I have one sealed in the basement. One with the disk drive sealed. Because I always get, if I can get a deal on one, I always get one and leave it sealed. Like I have a sealed PlayStation downstairs. I got a sealed Nintendo Wii U, which those go for like $1,000 now sealed. But I always do that. I have a sealed Xbox 360. I have a sealed original Xbox downstairs. I'm good. Like this is what I do. Number one, give me the fucking games. Okay? Perfect Dark I was waiting for. I'm always going to bring that up now because I was waiting for that game. Maybe the game would have sucked, but I was waiting for it for 5 fucking years, and they had quote leaks before that. Oh, it was going to be third person. It was going to be like Gears of War, blah, blah. I was there for all that. I remember all those leaks, okay? You finally show the game 5 years ago, and you say, all right, we're going to get this done. Last year, you show gameplay, whatever. A year later, it's canceled. Almost to the day that you showed the gameplay. Just fucking pick yourselves up and start getting these games out, okay? Stop overthinking shit. And this goes for Sony, too, because they overthought Spider-Man. What was that? They spent over $300 million for that stupid game, or $500 million? Something ridiculous. And that game was like mid-tier. It wasn't even that great. Stop with that shit. Get the games out. Stop fucking leaking shit, quote leaking. And this is not just the Xbox division. This is Microsoft. Because they do this shit with Windows. They do this shit with Teams. They always have people, quote, leak shit out. And they do that because they can't say stuff because of the shareholders. If they officially say something, the shareholders get mad. Stop doing all that shit. Just make the fucking games, okay? Number 2, get your services in priority. You got to make it affordable for the customer. And number 3, make your customers feel like they invested in a good product. We're 5 years in and they're giving up. And what I don't like is when I bought this machine in 2020 at launch, I was told that they were going to do this, do that, whatever. But because they couldn't figure it out and get it done, now they're pivoting and changing the fucking landscape and the industry is changing. No, fuckface. You ride this machine out the way that you told me you were going to ride it out. You do this industry changing thing next gen. Okay? That's all I would want. I would want them to correct all the fucking mistakes that they made. But the problem is they made so many and they're so big that you can't do it. Unfortunately, you can't do it. Milkman, what about you?
Hold on. But you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Yeah. I would just say you gotta make it cheaper because it's just to put it at $30 a month, that's the biggest thing. But that's $360 a year. For just 1 year of Game Pass, you still got to buy the console. I could literally put $200 more and get 2 years of PlayStation Plus and a brand new PlayStation, pretty much. If I go at GameStop, because they got a bundle right now for $550.
Right.
Where you get 2 years of PlayStation Plus Premium and a brand new PS5 with the disc drive for $550. So that would be the only thing for me. Is just you got to make it cheaper. Especially since more people are on PlayStation than it's not like your console's the more popular one. Most people are on PlayStation. Most people I know have PlayStation. That's why I was like, all right, if I was to get a console, it would be the PS5. Because I'll be able to play with more people because most of my friends are on PS5. So to me, they got to make it more cheaper. You got to incentivize people to buy it. You can't put it at no $30 a month. Unless you're putting all your top titles on there. Now, if you're putting all your top titles, then all right, fine. It would suck still, but at least you could say, all right, it's worth it. You get you got to pay to play, type of thing. But they're not doing that. So to me, that would be the only thing I would say, is that they just got to lower the price.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of speculation. Again, a lot of speculation is that they're raising the price to get you to fucking just not buy it. Not buy the console. They're raising the price of the console to get people to just walk away from it.
Like, that's the weirdest business strategy I've ever heard.
They figure you walk away from it, you go get the Fire Stick for $30, you subscribe to them for $30 a month, and that's how they make their money.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, well, instead of losing money on our last couple of million consoles in existence before we shut the assembly lines down, if they haven't been cut off already, is like, yeah, let's just gouge the last remaining Xbox guys, because they're already starting to think, oh, I better buy it up because this thing is like it's going to be like a fucking museum piece here pretty soon. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll say, if this news does actually hit that they're officially out, I can guarantee you the 1 or 2 left at Best Buy or Walmart will be knocked down in clearance price. So if you really want to go get one, and I don't know how this is anti-Xbox, go fucking buy one for like $150 on clearance.
Mm-hmm. Like if that's their strategy, that's the worst strategy ever. They need to do, even if you got to take a hit, you take the hit, lower the price, and take the hit, and you get more people in the end. It's like what 2K did. When 2K back, I think in 2005, they put the
NFL
NBA
2K5
and the NFL game.
Yeah, $20.
Yeah, and they put it at $20. It was half off. You know which people I know converted? I'm pretty sure they took a hit that year. But I know a lot of people who were EA, who were all EA. And they was like, oh, you know what? Let me give 2K a shot because it's half the price.
And it was a better fucking game too. That was the funny part.
And I was because I was a teenager at that point when it happened. I was already a 2K guy. Based on the graphics alone, that's how I tried 2K, was because I was like, all right, I got the Dreamcast. The graphics look a lot better for 2K than it does for Live.
Right.
Let me give 2K a shot. And then once I played 2K, I never went back to EA. And then, but I knew people who still stuck with EA, and that's fine. But people then switched over to 2K for the simple fact they're like, hey, it's half the price. You know, let me give it a shot. What's the worst that happened? It sucks.
It had more modes too.
Like, huh?
It had more modes too.
Yeah. And then they was like, oh shit, why didn't try this shit before? I know people, you know what people told me back then? I remember a lot of people used to be like, yo, I wish I tried this crap sooner. This is way better than Live or Madden. And a lot of people, why you think Madden bought the license for like a year or two later?
Yeah, they shut it down.
Was buying it.
They shut it down right there.
Yeah. It was a great strategy by 2K. It worked. They took a hit, but it worked in the end because people converted to them. That's what I think Xbox needs to do, since they're the ones that's second place, like 2K was at one point. You take the hit now, but in the long run, you'll be making more money. You just got to be willing to take the hit for now.
Amen. Yes. What was that thing that EA used to have? They tried it for a couple. See, even EA sometimes wakes up, right? When the fans speak. Remember, what was that fucking pass they had? What was it called?
Uh,
They did it for about 2 years. You had to pay like the extra fee just to get online and play multiplayer.
yeah, it was like EA Access, and then they renamed it to EA
Yeah.
Play, and they put it in Game Pass.
Because they were trying to kibosh the fucking used market, because everybody would go in and buy their sports games used, right? And still play online. They're like, oh, well, you know. And then people got up against it, and guess what? They changed. This is what I'm saying. Like, sometimes companies do, but that's the only way companies learn. They don't listen to you physically. They listen to you when you speak with the wallet.
Right.
You want to make somebody change, you fucking go out and you speak with the wallet, and you see how quickly they fucking start to turn around.
It's like if you lower the price, more people would buy the product. It's kind of like I think it's with the Atlanta Falcons. They lowered the price of like their food because their strategy was, all right, as much people aren't buying food as we want, so let's lower the price, make it maybe half off or whatever. They're charging, because normally when you go to these sporting events, the food is super expensive. So they decide to charge half what they normally charge, and I haven't heard about them losing any money.
No,
Exactly.
because it's all corporate
even more
greed.
people are
It's all
probably
greed from a lot of
even-
these places, man. That's all it is. They're not
Even
losing
more
money.
people are probably buying the food now that it's cheap because you're more likely to buy a hot dog that's $4 instead of freaking $8.
Exactly. And you'll buy more of it, right?
Yeah.
Which makes everybody happy.
Yeah, because you might be like, all right, it's $8, and you got maybe like, damn, I don't want to buy this one hot dog for $8, but all of a sudden you put it at $5, you might be like, you know what, I'll take 3 hot dogs.
Exactly.
Or I'll take
more.
2 hot dogs.
You're happy. They're making money. Your distributor's making money, right? The supply dogs. See what I mean? Like, it makes everybody happy. But when you when you get so greedy that it's just like you want to take it all in one shot, right? That's the thing.
It's like with Xbox. It's like, why sell something if you want to sell something for $500 and only one person is buying it? Won't you rather sell it at maybe $350? Let's just say $350, and you got 3 people buying it, and you got 3 people buying it
Instead of no one. Yeah, or instead of one or no one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you got, or just say you got it at 500, but you only got eight people who bought the damn thing, but you sell it at 350, and now you got 25 people buying it. More people might be like, hey, that 350 as compared to 500, what Sony's charging. Hey, I'm gonna go buy the one that's 350. I love Sony, but I don't love them that much. You know when people are going to say that? And especially the parents, when they go Christmas shopping, what do you think the parents going to say? Yeah, I know you really wanted Sony, but I don't got Sony money. Be happy with this Xbox and shut up.
Yeah.
They'll go buy the Xbox at their kid. Because the parents don't know shit when they go buy. All they're going to see is that price tag and say, hey, I'm buying Xbox. I don't care what you want. You going to get Xbox and be happy with it.
Well, Frank and I bought his nephew the Series S because we were like, all right, he can use Game Pass. They can't. Okay. So obviously the kid can't afford to buy a bunch of games. Okay. He's 10 years old.
Yeah.
So we figured, okay, get him the Series S. We both chipped in. We got him the Series S, whatever it was. Or I was able to get the machine and then he got me the money for it or whatever. And we got the kid the Series S. And he was good. He just subscribes to Game Pass because they can't afford to buy a bunch of games. So it was good for him. You know what I mean? That's one side of it that's actually, different from this whole conversation. That kid was able to play a ton of games and have fun. Now, they can't afford $30 a month. So what are we going to have to do? We're going to have to go get this kid another console. So, and he's still going to have to buy fucking games. So, I mean...
Well, at this point, you'll have to get the PlayStation bundle that GameStop has.
Right. Or, well, he'll have to get he'll have to get like a Switch 2 or something where he's got, cartridges or whatever. I don't know. It depends. Games are expensive. So, I mean,
PlayStation will probably be the best option because it's $575 and it's 2 years. You get a PlayStation Plus Premium.
Right. I mean, we'll talk about that, but that's another whole thing. Like, we thought we were good with the Series S for this kid.
Yeah.
And that was only like 3 years ago.
And how much was Game Pass 3 years ago? Wasn't
it like $9.99 or something? Or when did they jump up to $19.99? I don't even remember. It started at $9.99. That's all I remember.
Like a year ago?
Yeah, it started. I don't think it was a year or two ago, but when it did start, he's right. It was like $9.99. It was like really good price.
Yeah, because they wanted PlayStation was kicking their ass with the PS4, so they said, "Fuck it, we're gonna give you all our games for $9.99," because they
Wait,
thought
wasn't
that
like
people
Game
were gonna
Pass
buy the
here?
Xbox, the actual console. Game Pass was made to sell the damn console, and when that didn't
Yeah.
work, that's when they transitioned the it's a service, and they added all the streaming shit, which was fine. But at the same time, it's like it got too big too fast, I guess. I don't know.
So looking back on this now, do you guys think that the Series S itself was part of this conundrum too? That was part of the problem. We
No,
understand why it exists, but do you think it was part of the problem? Do you think that's something that Microsoft regrets doing now, or no?
because I know people who got it. I know people who personally got the Series S because they couldn't afford the. My nephew was one. One of
Right.
my nephews who was able to get a Series S because of the simple fact it was really cheap. It was only like 200, I think, when he got it. Oh no! The person was selling it, and he was able to sell it for like 150. They got it for. They got a really good deal on one.
Well, the Series S, I mean, great on paper when when it got leaked, because remember they weren't going first. Like Sony wasn't going first with their prices, Microsoft wasn't. Then somebody quote leaked it out for $299. It looked good on paper. Everything looked good. It's like, all right, cool. These games are going to run. There's going to be no problem. Then you got the developers, this, and then you got developers saying, no, it runs fine. Like we could get our games on here. So it's a catch-22. Is it or isn't it?
I think it's good only because I know quite a few women who bought their kids it.
Well, no, it's
Where they
it's
were
definitely a good
not
little
paid for.
machine, but in the long term, as far as developing games for it and stuff like that, I think that's what Noof is talking about.
Oh,
That kind of bit them in the ass because you got some developers that wanted to work with it, and you had a lot of developers that didn't want to work with it. And I think that should have been something on Microsoft's part where they should have, taken some sort of a survey with developers and be like, "Hey guys, if we did something like this, would you
Yeah.
guys be down with this?" And then they would say yes or no, get feedback that way. Maybe they did that. I don't know. We don't know any of this stuff. Maybe somebody will write a fucking book about it and explain all this stuff. I don't know. But that's what they should have done, in my opinion. And they should have figured that out first with devs. Or you should have just made one with the disk drive and made one without the disk drive. Just do it like what Sony did. And I think this would have been avoided completely. And
Yeah,
that
I mean, I understand why they went for it, and I applaud them to a certain degree. I mean, the
right.
Series S, I had one at one point. It was a phenomenal little machine, pretty impressive. What it could do, and such a form factor was great too, right? So, but it was very confusing, and I also think too is and again, it might have been a COVID thing, I don't know, but I just found I remember when the Series X came out and that one, it was like you couldn't find a Series X. It was like that's weird. Okay, you have these manufacturing issues, but all of a sudden the stores are lined with Series S's, but nobody could get their hands on a Series X. And I don't know if that was really I'm skeptical, right? Was that really a manufacturing production issue, or was it you were focused on the S because you knew it would sell better because one, it's cheaper, and two, why sell the X? Because if you sell an S, what's the guaranteed sale you're almost going to get with an S? You're going to sell Game Pass. Because what the fuck is the use of a digital console?
Yeah, that's why there was no
with
disk
no
drive.
So I think I almost feel like they did that deliberately. And I said this on some of my podcasts
Yeah, of course they
a
did.
couple years ago. I said they fucking did this on purpose. Because why is PlayStation was putting out PS5s? Sure, the scalpers were buying them up, but they were still producing PS5s. But Xbox was having this trouble with Series X's for some fucking reason. But yeah, walk into a Walmart, oh, there's a Series S, and there's lots of Nintendo Switches. But guess which console I couldn't get? Now, I had one, so it wasn't an issue for me, right? Because I pre-ordered day one and got one. But that's not the point. It's like you're trying to sell your most powerful console. You're trying to sell the fans, but you're taking away your best option. Like, why would you? I would want more people to have my best option because it's a better showcase. Obviously, yes, if you're on a budget, you're going to go for the S. But I think anybody that's got money, that is working, you can afford this shit, is going to go for the Series X all day. And
Right.
that's what I'd want to be selling.
So do y'all think that they came up with the Series S too as well because they figured, all right, people will try the Series S, be like, hey, I like this shit, but then double dip.
Yeah,
And be like, hey, you know what?
Absolutely.
Let me just upgrade to the Series X now because this ain't cutting it.
yeah,
And
because
they'll
you'll get
double it.
they knew eventually people will get 4K TVs since the Series S, it could do certain things. It could do up to 4K, blah blah blah. But they knew people would get new TVs and want to buy the Series X, buy the Beast, get more storage instead of buying that expansion card. Put that money towards a Series X, something like that. But it was like New said, the Series S was made to sell Game Pass because Game Pass was going to subsidize what they lost on the $2.99, and then eventually over time people would keep Game Pass, and then they would make money. That would already pay off the costs that they took, the hit that they took for the Series S machine, and it would be fine. It's a great business move. I think the problem was the hardware. They just fucked it up. They didn't expect devs to fucking fight back, and I think that was the mistake right there. And listen, it could be on them or it could be on the devs, because you have half the devs saying it's shitty to work with, and then you have half the devs saying that they love working with it. So we don't even know what the fuck is going on.
And you know
I think
yourself, you had retailers who also didn't understand how this worked. That's the other problem.
When
They couldn't
NFL,
really explain to people how it worked because the parents were like still buying because it said Xbox on the box, and they go home with Series S and then have fucking 3 games on a disc.
right? Yeah,
And then they realize, oh, this thing doesn't have a fucking disc drive.
that happened with
So like, there's a lot of
NCAA.
confusion.
It happened with NCAA 25 last year. People bought it on disc thinking it worked in the Xbox One S, and people were like, "Hey, this shit doesn't work." People bought a Series S with the game on disc from Amazon, and they were like, "This shit doesn't fit. There's no disc drive," because it was just confusing.
Then they
for
had that
them.
whole conundrum where they'd have like Battlefield 2042, for example, right?
Right.
They had a Xbox One copy, and then they have the fucking Xbox Series copy. Some games used to give you the Xbox Ones and the Series all in the one package, right?
It's because third parties didn't want to do that right away.
But they're like, oh, so like that was fucking another confusion. So you're going home, oh, I got the wrong version of this game. This one doesn't play in my console.
Yep.
Like there's so many like weird little things. It's like, Jesus, can it just be simple? Pick up the fucking game and play it. Yes or no?
Yeah, no, you're right. That's the way it should be.
Right? That's almost as bad as when you buy in fucking PC. You don't know if the game's gonna run on your damn graphics card all the time. Like you gotta have a fucking PhD in graphics cards to figure out every time you buy a game, is this thing gonna run? Like that's why I can never get into PC shit. And people, oh, buy a PC. That's why I don't. I got a PC now. This PC's not even that old and it can't run shit.
Right.
I'm like, so what's the point? Like,
Yeah, no, I get it. And that's why you need more consoles out there. You need competition. Here's the thing. Microsoft pulling out of hardware is not a good thing. Despite what people may think with us doing the show tonight, it's not a good fucking thing at all, because then Sony can turn around and be like, all right, PlayStation 6 is $2,000. Nintendo could be like, all right, the Switch 3, if they do a 3, that's going to be $2,000. Then we're fucked.
Yeah.
Basically, this is what's going to happen. It's basically going to be Sony's going to be playing the role of WWE, and Xbox is basically WCW and ECW that just died. Where Vince can now doesn't have to work hard. He could come up with any bullshit storyline and shove it up your ass, and you got to take it.
Well, yeah.
Because let's face it,
PlayStation and Nintendo are going to dictate the market when that happens.
At this point, Sony could be like, "Hey, we charging $1,000." They're gonna be like, "All right, what's your other option? Playing Mario and Pokemon games all goddamn day long?" That's what they're gonna say. Well, not publicly, but that's kind of pretty much what they're gonna say. Because right, your only other option is playing Pokemon, Metroid, freaking Mario games, and freaking whatever other Nintendo titles they have.
Right.
But that's gonna be your only option. Either that or play older games.
This is why I've always owned all the machines, because you go on the eShop, there's a bunch of shit on there. There's nothing really that good besides their own stuff. Xbox, you had third parties running good. You had all these. It was great. PlayStation, you have their games. I mean, it is what it is. That's why I don't have many third party games on my PlayStation, because I bought all that shit on Xbox because I've been doing that for years.
Well, that's what I said at the top of this show. If Nintendo ever fucking gets serious to the point where, they can give the developers decent hardware to work with, and they can, have sensible games. We don't want half-ass games of our big console brothers. Like, you want it to be at least somewhat decent. You don't want it to be constantly every game you buy for the Switch 2 has got to compromise. So if they can figure that shit out and they can get something with the look and run at least reasonably well, then they might, like, they're not only like flourish from their own perspective, but they're gonna really dominate,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
you got to
mean,
get that third party stuff. You got to get those Call of Duties. You got to get the Grand Theft Autos. You got to get the rated R games. You got to get the kind of stuff that we like to play, not just can't have all the kiddie games.
and that's why you buy a companion console with the Switch. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You'll have a PlayStation, you'll have an Xbox, you'll have something to complement that Switch. That Switch is when for a lot of people, you'll take it out and go on the go. You'll have that. You can play whatever. You come home, you want to play Call of Duty, you're going to load up the fucking PlayStation, you're going to load up the Xbox. You know what I mean? Nintendo I would love for them to drop a 4K console, like a Series X type machine. You know how fucking cool that would be? But they're just not going to do it right now. They're probably never going to do it in our lifetime. They were doing that at one point, and then they stopped. They got too complacent with the Wii. They were like, oh yeah, we can sell this shit to old people. Okay, well, they're all dead now. Let's fucking face facts here. It's 20 years later. Those 80-year-old people dropped dead already. So you lost that audience. And you fucked up Nintendo fucked up their whole game plan because of that audience. Oh yeah, no, the old people like to bowl and shit. All right, well, they're gone. They're not buying the Switch 2 because they're not here. I'm still here. And now I got to deal with this shit.
I haven't felt the same about Nintendo since the GameCube. The only negative about the GameCube is it went up against PS2.
Yeah, but it had better graphics than the PS2. It just didn't have the library.
It's like when you look at GameCube had literally pretty much whatever type of game you want, whether it was the regular Nintendo titles like your Pokemon, your Zeldas, whatever it is. But they also had, Dead to Rights. You had Resident Evil. You had basically, whatever first-person game was out at that time.
Dude, we were selling... Let me tell you something. I was working at Best Buy during that era. We were selling games. We were selling a fuck ton of games every goddamn weekend. Games were coming out like crazy. We would get like 8 new games for all the machines. Put them out. People would come in every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just buy them. People were dropping to $50, $60.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It was no problem. There was variety. There was a ton of fucking games.
Yeah.
People would always come up to me, have you played this game? How's this game? How's that? And they were also on all the platforms. And it was great. It was really good shit, man.
That's why I've always said that the GameCube to me is Nintendo's best product because it had a variety. Now they just got lazy. They just produce their own titles and not really much else. Which for me personally, I don't really care for their original titles that much.
Right.
I haven't cared for Mario since Super Nintendo.
See, Perry, even that's a great point, Perry. That the fact that, okay, like prior to Game Pass, right? How did we get our games, right?
Right.
You bought them in the store or you went and bought them digitally. But why did that become such a problem? It's like everybody, as soon as they got Game Pass, they acted holier than thou. Like they tried to make the rest of us feel like we're doing something wrong or we're evil or we're stupid because we went out and paid full price for the games that we loved. When was full price for the games we loved the problem before? Right? Well, if you wanted the latest and greatest, you went down. And look, sometimes we've all been there. You bought Battlefield, you bought Call of Duty, you had your sports games, you probably bought 8 or 9 games leading up to Christmas alone. That was not to mention you bought stuff on sale, right? Like we buy a shit ton of games, correct or no?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're 100% right.
Don't tell me the same guys who would say, yeah, well, if you're not on Game Pass, you're just dumb to be buying them full price. But you're the same guys who always bought them full price. This is what I'm saying. It just because Game Pass became the cool trend, and because I totally get it. It makes sense, right? But the point was, before Game Pass existed, there was games are expensive. It's an expensive hobby. That's all you ever heard. But nobody sort of sat down every day and bitched that they spent $60 on their video game. They went out and bought 4 of them. If they wanted them, they bought them. They found a way to buy them. And then all of a sudden it became this taboo thing that, oh, you went out and spent $80. Well, I got it on Game Pass, so I didn't have to pay at all. But here's the difference, dipshit. You bought Game Pass. It's fucking renting the fucking game.
Right.
Okay? Your internet goes down, you're fucking fucked completely. and it's renting the game. Like there's no I mean, we don't own shit anyway, but there's no sense of ownership when you fucking do it in Game Pass. As soon as the moment you stop subscribing, guess what? If Game Pass pisses you off, now you got to go out and buy it anyway.
Yeah.
So now all that 700 games that you mysteriously have is on your hard drive. Guess what? They're all useless to you now.
Well, guess what?
This is my point.
Really quick. Now, remember I mentioned that every weekend we were getting games and people were buying them. You know, it's almost reciprocal here. Almost. You can't really compare it, but it's almost comparable. Blockbuster Video was still around, but they were dying. Blockbuster Video was charging you, I think, up to $12 to rent a fucking brand new game for one night. They said 2 nights, but it's really one night. And they were putting a $20 hold or $25 hold on your credit card on top of that, in case you didn't, quote, return the game. So to rent a fucking game for one night at Blockbuster was like $30 fucking dollars, over $30. That's half the price of just buying the game, playing it, and then trading it back in. You know what I mean? That's why people just fucking started buying games again, because Blockbuster wasn't even getting all the games in.
Well, my Blockbuster,
because they were dying. They were done. It's kind of almost like this. Game Pass is just too much money, and people are just gonna go out and buy the fucking game again, because if you're gonna lose money, at least you're gonna fucking sell it and get the money back, or you're gonna have it on your account. There's some sort of at least ownership there, digital or physical. Whereas, with Game Pass, again, it's like the renting thing, which again, I don't have a problem with, but the price just isn't there. It's too high now.
But 360, I could buy.
Bro, it's like a fucking house, okay? If you bought a house for like, I don't know, before lockdown, before 2020, if you bought a house for $250,000, you got like a mansion up here, okay? Now, you're paying like $600,000 for a fucking house. So, I mean, it's unattainable. There's a lot of people that had the money before 2020 to buy a house. Now they don't have the fucking money to buy a house. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It might not be the best example, but it's kind of like that. It's like you had the money at one point to do it, and just now it's just you can't do it.
And this new tiering on Game Pass is basically almost proven one of my points. Remember, I've been saying this too for a long time, that I think one of the biggest mistakes, I get it. One of the biggest draws to Game Pass was the day and date games, right? Nobody can deny that. That was a huge thing. I remember when they announced that and how excited the community was, and I totally got it.
Right.
I totally get it. That definitely is one of the major draws. You take that out of the equation, and what do you got? But that in itself was a mistake, because a lot of those games that, especially from Microsoft's perspective, a lot of those games are games that most of us, majority of us, would have easily spent the $60 or $70 on if it wasn't in Game Pass, right? And you see now the tier. Have you noticed now they've taken out on most of their tiers? Now they've taken out the day one game.
It's not even at that point. It's not even really Game Pass for the first 2 tiers. Well, you're still getting games. Yeah, but you're not getting their games. Like that was the whole fucking point.
That's the point. But that's also proving to me that they're almost like self-admitting that putting day and date games in was not the best decision, right? It's kind of hard to roll it back after you do it. This is the problem. When you make a decision that big, it's hard to roll it back because it's going to piss off so many people. So let's change the tiering. That way you're still giving people those day and date games, but you're going to up that tier. You're going to charge that more money, because now that more money sort of is a little more justifiable, because they're obviously reason we're losing a lot of money here because people aren't buying that physical copy, right? At the end of the day,
right?
$20 subscription or $15 does not work out to the amount of copies we didn't sell digitally or physically in the store because people just didn't buy it, right?
Right.
And this is what I've been saying. So I think that day and date was largely stupid. Game Pass could have still been amazingly good, and it could have still been great. And again, you could have said like day and date is at least 6 months. So if the game comes out, they go in the stores, they go on the digital marketplace, and then you'd find out that the fans that really wanted that game would just go buy it. And you know what? Well, that is very true, because you know what's happening now. What you see now is, instead of spending that $70 they could have just spent on the new Gears or the new Forza Horizon, the fans only just turned around and they didn't give that money to Microsoft. They took that $70 now. And guess what? They went out and they bought somebody else's game. They bought those third-party games that weren't on Game Pass.
Right.
So they're getting the money. Microsoft's not. They're getting it. See what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I see exactly what's going on.
Like Gears, I don't even debate. Gears is day one. That's a day one purchase for me. It doesn't need to be on any pass. It can be up your ass for all I care, but I'm going to buy Gears day one.
Fuck yeah.
I knew this was trouble. When Gears 5 came out and I watched everybody in the community not actually buy it, they're like, how are you playing it? Playing on a Game Pass. I don't say I'm playing them because, I mean...
Dude, I bought the fucking Steelbook and then I bought the regular edition because I wanted to have it.
I have that game. I bought the physical copy. I bought every Gears physically.
And then I bought the fucking game digital and I bought it on, I believe I bought it on Steam as well. So, I mean, because I want to have access to it. You know what I mean?
There you go.
If my Game Pass, for whatever reason, even though I stack the shit, in case something happens, like you said, I could still play it somehow. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal to me.
But a lot of my so-called Gears community didn't. They didn't buy it at all. They just got it on Game Pass, played it, whatever. And they're like, yeah, well, it's on Game Pass now. Yeah, but you're the kind of guy who says you're a Gears fan, and you would have bought that at full price. Right. If they didn't put it in on day one, I guarantee you would have been running down to the store and buying it. So Microsoft shot themselves in the foot with that kind of a fucking method because they just cannibalized that sale. And you know what? Yeah, sure, maybe Game Pass comes out and whatever, or you get and see, and then if you get rid of Game Pass, you still got that amazing game that you loved. But I think that was a big mistake. I think even if they had given themselves a 6 months window, that could have changed the trajectory. And it still would have been amazing value because you still would have got Xbox games at some point.
Right.
And you still would have got your third party shit. And you could have kept your prices down a little bit. And you kind of, like I said, at least maximize the window sale and gotten more people to buy into the game and everything else. I don't know. I'm not an economics expert, but yeah.
Do you think that they should have probably done, like PlayStation Plus Premium has the trials? You download the full game on your console, but you only get 1 or 2 hours. Do you think that would have worked better for Game Pass? Draw people in for an hour or two and then stop it and be like, guys, listen, you got up to this point in the game. You can uninstall this game or you can purchase the game digital right now. Or here's a link to our actual store. You can buy the game physically. You know what I mean? I think that would have worked out better for Microsoft.
Heck, they could have even put shit on Game Pass and said, because you're a Game Pass subscriber, if you buy a game within the first, say, month of Game Pass, you go and buy the actual digital copy from the store because you're a Game Pass subscriber, we'll give you 30% off of the game.
Right. Something crazy. Whatever.
And that would have gotten you at least to buy the game outright at some point, so they would have got more revenue, and you would have been happy because you got the discount because you're already technically paying for Game Pass. But I mean, there's so many methods they could have used, I'm sure. I just think it's one of those things that everything sounds good on paper and everything sounds really good in a boardroom, but then when you put it to the public, and after you start seeing the trajectory, right, you start seeing the numbers coming back.
Right.
Because when you're doing anything in a boardroom, it's all on projected numbers, what you think you're going to get, or what pre-sales in the past have told you you're going to get. You never really know. Just like movies never know if they're going to be blockbusters or they're going to be dead in 3 weeks. You're kind of going now off analytics, like how people are responding on social media or polls or videos, the ratios on YouTube videos nowadays, right? It's like, well, a lot of people really like that video, so this must be a good thing.
Right.
So I don't know, man. Like I said, I can sit here and I guess I could chirp, till the sun comes home. I just, I'm not going to stay here much longer and take up your time, guys. But I just think we're just it's like we're living in the twilight zone, right, of Xbox. I never thought that we'd be here on October the 5th having this kind of discussion.
Me neither.
I thought our discussions would be completely different. I thought we'd be talking about the wealth of great games. And look, we can't deny this. If there's one thing Xbox did this year, we got to give them full credit on that. So they have brought out some really fucking good games this year.
Absolutely. I played them.
Even that, I said in the chat before I jumped in on the podcast here, Perry, is that here's Xbox once again. Now, this year they brought out some of their best games in a long time.
Yep.
South of Midnight, you had Avowed. What else is after coming out? We've had multiple games.
Yeah,
and
Doom.
guess what? None of them, Doom, first-party games, right, coming from their own studios, and nothing they put out this year got nominated for a Game of the Year. And what's the one thing that Xbox has been sorely missing in the last decade is that they're never in those conversations.
Right.
Which basically means a lot of their games, for whatever, and I still blame a lot of it on the media. They still to this day, they hate Xbox. They hate Xbox. Xbox always gets 2 or 3 points knocked off because it's just Xbox.
Bro, Ryan McCaffrey was always pretending like he was an Xbox guy, but he was always shitting on them. Like, hardcore shitting on them. Mm-hmm. He was even tweeting, like, at Phil Spencer, like, combatively. And it's like, what is this guy doing? Like, this guy's fucking nut. Now the guy's like, oh, I'm an Xbox guy, and I'm so sorry that this is happening. It's like, fuck you, bro. And by the way, Microsoft would always send that guy, like, free shit. It's like, why are you sending this guy free shit when he's shitting on your brand? That's a guy you need to blacklist. You need to be like, you know what? You call IGN and be like, we're not going to fucking work with you if this guy keeps talking like that. And IGN will say, well, then we're not going to work together. Or IGN will say he's fired. You know what I mean? Like, instead, they just send him a fucking console to change his mind. And it's like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. That was one thing that pissed me off, Noof. I'm going to tell you. IGN did some sort of an interview, okay? And you could see all their desks. Mm-hmm. And this is after the Xbox One X was clearly out for about a year or so, okay? Mm-hmm. What did you see on their desks? You saw the PS4 Pro and you saw the VCR Xbox One. So they were, quote, reviewing these games on the shittiest fucking version of the Xbox One. But they were reviewing all the PlayStation games on the best version of PlayStation 4.
Absolutely.
And
that a lot.
And that's fucked up, man. That you're not reviewing the shit properly when you do that. So Xbox did get fucked over big time by the media. That's for sure. And a lot of people now when people criticize them, it's all media bias. It's like, yes, there was at one point a huge media bias. It's not as bad as they all scream it is today, but it was really bad.
Oh yeah. And Indiana Jones came out too late last year, right, to be considered for awards. And is it nominated for anything this year?
Not that I know of. I haven't heard anything anyway, but
everybody said it was an amazing game. Most people say that's one of the best games in years and blah, blah, blah. And I haven't. It is a phenomenal game, but it just is the point.
Yeah, I bought it too. I bought the fucking pass on Xbox, and then I bought the goddamn game on PlayStation.
You know. It's crazy, and we see how that is, and we see, and now the hypocrisy is very apparent in the community and with the media, certainly in the community, with the whole, that's the funny thing with these.
The community fell off a cliff, and you know what, man? This is why I never used to talk in like your chat rooms or anything, because I didn't want to bother anybody or get anybody like screaming at me or anything, right? And then I talked to Dreadpool, and he was like, "You should talk more in the chat so people get to know you." So I was like, all right. And I started doing that, like with you guys and all that. But like now that like people are like coming to this like channel and shit and like getting mad at me and shit, it's like, who cares? You're getting mad at me for no reason. Phil Spencer doesn't watch this show. Phil Spencer doesn't watch this show, right? So he's not going to be like, oh, this guy said that. Oh, I'm going to do what he says. Nobody's watching this shit. It's just me giving my opinion. That's all it is.
Yeah, we're just like, we do this first and foremost for fun. All this is it's because we love to talk about. We play games. We love to talk about games. But like I said, it is good in a sense because we've exposed a lot of hypocrisy in the communities. Because we all know how, like, just a year or so ago, Forza Horizon was so overrated, right? Forza Horizon is so overrated, and it's an arcade racer and it can't compete with this. And can't, we heard all the fucking arguments from the other side about Xbox games.
Yep.
Right? We heard about even Gears. But guess what are some of the most popular games on PlayStation right now? Forza and Gears.
Yep.
People are fucking playing it.
Absolutely.
And they're loving it, even if they don't want to admit that they are. But, those games are so mid, and those games are so crap, and that's all you guys got. And I guarantee you.
That's all we got, but they ran out and bought it.
Don't think it's a matter of when with Halo. It's a matter of, no, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it comes. And I guarantee you it's coming, especially with all the news we're hearing now. Because they're going to want to maximize that property for sure. That's Xbox's biggest flagship, and it's a multiplayer game. So it's a win-win all around. But guaranteed, they'll all be singing that praises too when that fucking drops. Like I said, so much hypocrisy in the community. It's like everything's fucking shit. Death Stranding was fucking shit apparently up until it came out on Xbox last year, right?
Oh, FedEx Simulator.
Yeah.
And then when it came out at $20 and came out at $20 and everyone was praising it all of a sudden, right?
Exactly. Funny how that works, isn't it? And
Helldivers.
it goes on both sides.
Helldivers last year. Oh no, this game is shit.
Yeah.
It sucks. Halo kills this game. Blah blah fucking blah. A year later, everyone's running out and playing it.
Yeah,
With
there's
Halo skins, by the way.
Skins. Like, and it is. And look, don't get me wrong. We're not stupid enough to sit here and say that stream doesn't flow both ways, because it do. Because we got guys on both sides of the fence, but it becomes more apparent. You start to see it a little bit more.
Where was everyone when I was talking shit about Nintendo and PlayStation for the last 10 years? Where?
Right? Exactly.
Where were they? Now I'm talking bad about Xbox because they're actually fucking up, and I got people coming after me. All right. Well, if Nintendo announces $100 games tomorrow morning, guess what? I'm going to be on here and I'm going to be fucking cursing them out. Mm-hmm. It's just the way that it goes, man. I'm not being paid by anybody, so I'm not going to sit here and kiss anybody's ass. I'm the guy paying them because I'm buying shit from them.
This community only hears what it wants to hear, and that's very apparent.
It's an echo chamber, and it's sad.
Yeah. Once it strays away from the echo chamber and they catch a little something, and they automatically put you into a group and assume that you're one way or the other. No, we're gamers. We like it all. We have it all. We play it all. We can't.
Why the fuck did I buy everything then?
Fucking clearly.
Why
do you buy everything?
If I love PlayStation so much, why am I on an Xbox dashboard right now? Why did I buy the Xboxes day one? Let me tell you something. All right, and you know this. I bought when the Xbox One X came out. Okay, I went to go buy it at Best Buy, and I had it coming from Amazon, and I went to Best Buy with Frank. I called Anthony. Okay, I say, Anthony, I don't have money for a 4K TV, but tell me what's the best 4K TV. Because I'm just looking at these right now. He goes, get the Sony, okay? I fucking walked out with a brand new fucking Sony TV. I didn't expect to go there to buy a TV, but I was like, you know what? I want to play the One X the best way I can. So Sony got my money that day, and so did Microsoft. So I walked out of there with the fucking brand new TV I didn't expect to go buy, but I did. And let me tell you something. Ghost Recon Wildlands on the fucking Xbox One X was beautiful.
Yes. I had that one. I liked that one. I didn't like the other one too much. Breakpoint, was it?
Yeah, Breakpoint. It was like people kind of forgot about that one. It was
shout out to Wilmy Hood. Wilmy Hood actually gifted me a copy of that game, and I'll never forget that. That was very nice of him, because at the time it was like, yeah, I don't know what was going on. I just don't know if I had the money or I just wasn't convinced I wanted the game. And he's like, all of a sudden he gives me the copy. It's like, great. So like I said, I don't forget those things. I'm very grateful for that stuff. But I turned around and played it. I was like, yeah, I'm not really digging this one. It doesn't feel much like Ghost Recon anymore. Wildlands was on the departure enough, but this one was just like, what the heck? So
yeah. It was nice though, and then I had like the TV would do like if you put it in like soap opera mode, it would do like bump up the frames or whatever on the games and stuff like that. So it was really cool that I was like, I put that shit on a credit card. I walked out with a TV just for the Xbox, but that's okay. I'm just a fucking guy that only plays Sony games, I guess. And by the way, I shit all over the PlayStation 4 generation for 10 years on this very channel. So I don't know what to tell people.
To my opinion, and again, in my opinions, and that's what people need to hear more often, in my opinion, which is an opinion,
the
Xbox still has the best controller. I mean, for me, it's the feel, the tactile feel, the triggers, the everyday placement, it's still the best controller. I will say the PlayStation 5, in my opinion, the PS5, the DualSense, is their best controller that I think they've made in all of their console gens. And a lot of people have agreed with me on that. I'm happy to see that they have that new battery, that replaceable battery thing coming out. I think that's a step forward.
Right.
Because I never did like the battery life in the current ones. And if you could at least change it out with something else, I think at least it's an option, and at least it's, it's a step in the right direction. Hopefully battery life's better. It's something we've complained about now for the last 3 generations, I think, pretty much for PlayStation. But look, they make a fair few mistakes themselves. They're not impervious. Nintendo makes a shitload. That's the thing. Nintendo doesn't make a lot of egregious ones. They just do a lot of weird shit that's just like, it doesn't make a ton of sense. But I also think that Nintendo, because they're so traditional in the way that they do things, right? Especially like they do really well in their native land, right? If you go to over there, Nintendo is like even huger than it is here. Like they're massive. Like their consoles and their stuff and their games. And,
they are the Disney over there. Like that's their version of
People
Disney.
still walk in and they buy their physical shit still. Like they walk in and get the games and the consoles and they love it. And like Nintendo has, like I said, they've carved their and I guess again I call it's like a niche. It's a very popular niche, but they've carved their own niche. And again, Nintendo probably would not be around either if they didn't do the route they did with Switch.
Right.
I would argue, where would Nintendo be right now?
Dude,
if they
Nintendo
didn't do the hybrid.
We talked about it on this channel. They were fucked with the Wii U. They lost so much money. And you know what? A lot of people don't remember this, but I fucking do because I was in the trenches there. You know, they never dropped the price of the Wii U and they never pulled it. I mean, they never fire saled it. They literally pulled it from every goddamn retailer, but with never dropping the price. You know what they did?
Yep.
They had third-party accounts on eBay and sold those things for even more money because you couldn't find them in the store. So people were paying. I looked on an eBay account. Someone sold over 5,000 sealed brand new Wii U's for like $600 a piece. That was Nintendo. Nintendo said, fuck it. We're not dropping the price. We're going to take these. We have third-party eBay accounts. We're just going to fucking blow them out at $600. We're going to get our money back and more for fucking up this generation. Nobody realized that they did that, but they did it. We covered that on my show all those years ago.
Yep.
But Nintendo wasn't taking a hit on nothing.
Nope. Nintendo still hasn't really got with the times in the whole online aspect. When we give them credit, it's better than it was. At least we can actually send invites to each other now and actually chat online, which is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I know.
Still can't just send you it's still a fraction of where we're at with PlayStation online and Xbox online, obviously. But hey, it's better than nothing. So but Nintendo does what they do, man. They don't. At this point, they realize they're not going to compete with these guys in hardware, and they're not even trying. They're just trying to give you competent hardware, and they're giving you the games that we know and love to have for generations. They're only people that can keep selling you the same fucking game over and over at full price. Like the new Mario Galaxy games. Like, why the fuck are we paying full price for two old ass games that are in 4K?
Right.
Anybody else is selling their own games for probably half the price with 4K resolution. So all this kind of shit never makes no sense with them. But the only way Nintendo's going to listen to any of us is if we stop speaking with the wallet. And we've definitely proven over the last 5 years or 6 years, ever since that the Switch come out, that Nintendo fans and fans in general are just willing to pay for their stuff, and largely because it is different.
Yep.
Because Nintendo is different. Like if you look at the PlayStation ecosystem and the Xbox ecosystem, at the end of the day, they're really not that far apart.
No, they're not.
The games look and play nearly identical. Their online services are very similar. It's kind of like this nitpicky stuff. Whether you like the controller better or whether you like the online better, but you're basically playing outside of the exclusive games, which used to be exclusive, play largely the fucking same. It's you can go one or the other and you probably don't miss that much. If you just got an Xbox and you don't really give a shit about a lot of the Japanese RPG games, you're probably just fine. Because outside of Sony's exclusives, Xbox has almost everything else. So this is where we're at. But Nintendo has a large variety of games that a lot of people can't get on any of the other competitors. And this is the strength with them, right?
Yep.
And it is what it is. I never said we don't like it. We bitch about it. The prices are shitty. Some people buy, some people won't. Some people collect. I don't know. But at least there's somewhat the closest to the I guess that's another thing for me. Nintendo still feels the closest to the traditional experience of gaming that we've grown up with.
They are going to outlast Sony. They're going to be at the end of the day, they're the tortoise in the tortoise and the hare. Oh yeah.
They might be the last one standing at the end of the day. It'd be like the only console manufacturer in the race. Everybody would be out of fucking business. It'd be all Nintendo then.
You know what's funny? They went after Sega violently in the 90s. A lot of people don't realize that. And then when Sega finally went out, Nintendo got complacent. That's what we not need to happen now. That's why you need Xbox around. So, I mean, and this is why Xbox needs to figure it out, and they need to get with their customers, and they need to really make this work, because we can't do that. Like Milfman said, when McMahon bought the competition, guess what? WWE was shit for 20 years. Nobody watched that bullshit. It was hard to watch because
Mhm.
they had no creative, they have no competition, and they had no creative juices. They had nothing going on. It was just the same shit over and over and over again. And you can't have that in any competitive field, any competitive market, even. So, I mean, it's just it. Like, they got to compete.
The same thing that happens to publishers too. EA has gotten complacent over the years. EA got so big that they got full of themselves and did stupid shit like that EA Pass.
Right.
And did a bunch of stupid shit. Bought a bunch of IPs that they just thought, hey, we can just slap them out there and everybody's going to just fucking buy it. Get rid of the campaigns from games that normally had them and all sorts of stupid shit and keep shooting themselves in the foot. It's like, stick to what what works,
Yeah, same thing with Ubisoft, making the same goddamn games every fucking year. It's like, enough is enough.
Yeah.
You got
It's like Ubisoft, stop making games that fucking take a lifetime to finish. Jesus Christ. Like, stop these fucking 50-hour damn RPG games. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
some of us got a life too.
Bring back Rayman. The hell with fucking Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Bring in Rayman. And here, like, again, talk about tone-deaf companies. How many years have we been asking for Splinter Cell? And the only counter argument I ever get from anybody on that, and there's always that one in the chat, so they'll go, well, Splinter Cell never really was a blockbuster. It never sold that many
Bro,
fucking
fuck
games.
that, okay? Where were they?
Sure? How many games did they have during the 360 PS3 generation? There was quite a few. I'm pretty sure that doesn't
like
sound
4
like
or
a
5
dead
of them.
franchise to me. Right? That's not a dead franchise to me. And if you look at all the fans that keep asking for it, but no, they'll give us anything but what we're fucking asking for. Dumbasses.
Dude, let me tell you something.
Rare.
I'm going to tell you something, Noof, okay? I have a friend who, he doesn't play any fucking, like, current stuff. He plays all retro shit because we grew up, he had Sega Genesis. He didn't even have a Super Nintendo, but when he played Super Nintendo, he fell in love with it.
Yeah.
He had an N64, played the shit out of that game. That guy doesn't play shit, okay? When I gave him an Xbox, because I had, back in the day when I hacked him his Xbox with the emulators on there so he could play the old games.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, this plays Xbox games, right? I was like, yes, obviously. And he goes, can you put that Splinter Cell game on here? I heard that shit's really good. And I'm like, you want to play a new game? And he's like, yeah, I heard really good things about this Splinter Cell game. There you go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only game he asked for. He's like, nah, put all the emulators on there and put Splinter Cell. I was like, okay.
Wow.
So, when people say that, even people that don't game in the current state, they still want to play a game like that. So that shows how much drawing power that game had.
Saying you got to listen to your fans. You got to know what they know. That's the thing. Just, I don't know, Microsoft. I don't know. They, like I said, I can't even explain it now. It's so. I guess at the end of the day, it's like we all say. It's the best word I can sum it up. It's very depressing and disheartening, right?
It really
you know
is.
how much we've invested. We've invested money, but we've invested time. We've invested podcasts. We've invested conversations. We believed in the brand. We believed in what it stood for. And I know stuff changes. We're all not stupid. Society changes, likes and interests change, technology changes, things change. I totally get it. And you have to accept there is a certain amount of change. But sometimes, like I said, you have to, you can't always be the one company that has to be the one that does the changing. That's the other thing too. Like, sometimes let the other guys lead. When you're not the most popular company, or you're not, say, the one that's out in front per se, you're probably the one that's least likely should be taking the fucking risks.
Right.
Because it's only going to destroy whatever you build up in the good faith you have between your fans. And I'm going to say it. Yeah, we might, I don't know, like hardcore fans. Do we really make this company, like, are we really, like, do we not make this company any type of money?
Let me tell you,
just the Fortnite dollars are chasing? Because I'm pretty sure we're making this company money. Like, we buy full price games.
Do you know how many people?
Everything that comes out.
You know how many people in my chat? Okay, and this is true. If you go back to my podcast, how many people in my chat were not Xbox people? Okay, but they always saw me playing Xbox. They saw Game Pass. They saw me doing this. They saw me doing that with Xbox. They saw the One X. They saw all this shit. Every time, and you can go back on my channel too. Every time Xbox had a fucking sale, digital or physical, I would cover it and be like, hey, this is Brothers Deals in Sony. You know how many people in my chat actually bought a fucking Xbox because of my channel? And then when the Series X was $349 at Walmart and at holiday 2023, I literally had 6 fucking people in my chat on the spot buy one. Because I pasted the link in there, and I have a guy, his name is Chrono. He's not an Xbox guy, okay? But he said, I'm going to buy it for $349. Thank you for the link, because eventually I'm going to get around to it, and I'm going to play the back catalog, like Gears of War and all that stuff, on that machine.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in the room like a week ago, and he was like, I still have it, so I'm not going to get rid of it now that they're doing all this crazy stuff. But I sold 6 there were 6 people in there that confirmed that they bought it. Stevie Mac was one of them too, actually.
Totally, man.
But now
it might be small jump change, but we still help. Again, that's where the word influencer comes. And I don't necessarily like the word influence, but just sometimes the great conversations, they hear the passion, and they hear these great conversations about the video games that we have and the consoles that we buy. And it gets people excited, and it gets people like, sometimes we do kind of convert people, or you convince people this might be a good investment, and they go out and they do it. And it's awesome. We see it on everybody's channel. Everybody has that little, and that's why even like the big companies, they do know there's money to be made with obviously smaller YouTubers, and when you get to a certain size, it can be even more money. But
right.
We do have a voice. I guess that's what I'm saying. We have a voice in the community, and and it is a good community for the most part. And I gotta say, like I said, you're blessed. You got a lot of great people that do come out to your shows and your chats, and they're awesome people. Like the people we got here tonight, they're some of the finest human beings out there. And I've been blessed to have really good chats. Rarely anybody idiots. And it's nice to see that we have level-minded gamers in here too. That they might not agree with everything we said, or maybe our opinions might be a little more stern than the stuff that they would see, but they seem to hear us out, and they seem to go, they have a great point here. It's not like we want to be talking like this. It's not, again, it's the top of the show. It's not like we want to have these discussions and all we want to do is shit on our favorite. Like, that's the thing. Why would we want to shit on our favorite thing? We say it because we love it. We say it because it hurts us. We say it,
exactly.
You guys take it too serious. Well, I don't think it's taking it too serious. We're not ready to go out and kill anybody. At the end of the day, look, Microsoft up and shuts the doors. He shut the doors. There's nothing we can do about it. We've been through this before.
That's what I keep saying. Like, we got robbed and we got fucked. I mean, it's not, at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do. You can only deal with it. And I'm in a situation where I have 16 of these goddamn things in the house and at work in total. I have an Xbox in every fucking room in the house.
That's the difference between now and the Sega generation. Okay,
right.
The Sega generation was a purely physical generation. Okay, so when Sega fucking just kind of up and quit, you didn't have so much to lose because all you had was the games that you bought and collected. This is the thing now. Xbox abolishes things. Now we've got all this digital library. We've got this whole ecosystem. We have servers. We have Xbox Live, or whatever you want to call it, right? Like, it's more than just the brand itself. It's look at all of the backlog. Look at all of the things we have stored within this. And I guess maybe that's why they're pushing the cloud so much, because they want to get us converted to that shit. So when all of it does hit the fan and these guys kind of, take the high road and leave us hanging, to be like, well, now you can just go play your games from the fucking cloud. Right?
Right. Hey,
at the end of the day, I guess that's all it is.
We might have to be lucky if they ever do that, because who knows? They might get up one morning and be like, we're done with gaming. Turn all that shit off. We're done.
Yeah.
And then we're fucked.
Yeah.
We're not saying
you're going to be able to play it through the cloud.
And again, we're not saying that is going to happen. Everyone open your fucking ears. We're saying it could happen. We don't know. Yes. We didn't know that this was even going to happen until that fucking Satya guy woke up one day and said, you know what? I want to invest in AI. Fuck the games. We don't know. We're here. We're talking about shit.
We don't know. But history repeats itself, right? We know how Microsoft loves to give up on everything the moment it doesn't make them the kind of money they anticipated to do. Yeah. They got rid of the Windows Phone after buying Nokia. They got rid of Mixer after picking it up from who the fuck it was before it was called Mixer. Beam. got rid of that. Like, didn't even give that a chance to even grow. They're just like, yeah, fuck this shit. We're done with it. Like, so many things at these guys. I'm even shocked they've even invested the money to make the adaptive controller for the fucking disabled people to play. It's like, that was one of the coolest things they ever done.
That's the coolest thing they ever did. And you know why? And at the end of the day, you know why they did that? Because Nintendo wasn't going to do it. You know why I know Nintendo wasn't going to do it? Because when I was a kid, I read, I think, Nintendo Power or Game Pro or something. Somebody had written a letter. It was probably Nintendo Power. Somebody wrote a letter to Nintendo, and they published it in the magazine. And the guy said, hey, I'm disabled. One of my hands doesn't work properly. Can you make a one-handed controller? And Nintendo responded, I'm sorry, we can't do that. So when I saw the adaptive controller, I was like, finally, somebody fucking listened. It wasn't Sony. It wasn't Nintendo. It was Microsoft. You know what I mean? That's why you need these guys around. They might now Sony has one. Okay. But why do they have one? Because Microsoft was they released it and they were getting that word around. Everyone was covering that thing. And it was pro-consumer because it worked with your PlayStation. It worked with your Nintendo. This thing worked with everything. They got everything they needed to do to get that controller to work. And you know what? If Microsoft, if the Xbox is out, guess what? They don't get to innovate on that controller. You see what I'm saying? Like there won't be another controller.
And I feel that Microsoft has, like I said, they've been smart. I mean, even right down to this memory thing, right? The Xbox. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think the memory cards that they use for the back, I thought it was genius. Right. I think it's an amazing thing. I might be in the few. I don't have a problem with the fact that you stick the card in the back. I think that's a lot better than trying to rip open your console and insert another fucking hard drive. It's so simple. It's plug and play and get and go. Take your game saves wherever. I think it's genius. It's great. That's not the problem. The problem was proprietary and then making the prices so fucking stupid. That was the problem. Right?
Yeah, no.
That's the big draw.
And before it came out, remember they were, oh no, there's going to be third parties. Don't worry. The prices will be in check, blah, blah, blah. Bro, they had Seagate. I don't know if they had some sort of a deal with Seagate, but no one was able to fucking do it besides Seagate. Then Western Digital, like 2 or 3 years later, made their own. And that was like $10 cheaper than the Seagate ones.
Yeah.
So they screwed the pooch on that one. Should have just done NVMe like the PlayStation. The NVMe is a regular PC part you literally can get for like between $80 and $100. You pop that fucking thing in, you don't have to worry about it anymore. So again, like you said, great on paper. I thought it was cool. I bought a bunch of them. Guess what? Guess who got fucked on that deal too? Me. So I have one sealed. I have one of those fucking things sealed.
Yeah, I had the Western Digital one until I got rid of the first time I got rid of my Series X. I sold mine off, but yeah, I had one of those, the 1 terabyte or whatever, and that was good. It was it was nice.
And then they released a 4 terabyte on a $400. I was like, I could buy the fucking machine for like another $100. Like, what the hell is this all about?
This is what I'm saying. Some of it just looks great on paper, it looks good physically, it works prime, but it's like, how the hell, like come on, guys, like think about this. Now you're trying to make a little bit of money. You're trying to make up a little excess on, accessory and stuff because you lose a bit on the consoles. But like, there's a fine line between being okay, that's a little pricey, to being like stupid. Like I remember the first time I saw the price of a Xbox, the Elite controllers, and what the fuck?
Yeah, and guess what? This guy ran out and bought fucking 2 of them at launch, like an idiot.
$160 for a freaking controller? I'm like, what the?
Yeah, no, I know.
Now it's not so absurd now because controllers on average, at least up here in Canada, like PlayStation controllers go for $89.99 up here.
Yes. Yep.
That's what I got to pay for. And the Xbox ones usually about, I think, $79 normally. There's lots of discounts on the Xbox ones all the time.
I bought the Heartbreaker controller for $74.99 at GameStop. It was brand new, but luckily I used my credit, but that's still $75 fucking dollars. Like, it's ridiculous. On Black Friday, these things are normally $40. But they're not going to put that one on sale, so I had to buy the stupid Heartbreaker one. And I'm the idiot. I got 1 million controllers downstairs sealed.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe if this thing does go away, I'll make some money back on those fucking remotes. I don't know.
Well, at least the controllers, at least for the moment, they're fairly universal, so that's a good point. But
Yeah.
And I'll just say, Perry, I don't want to take up any more of your time, man. Thanks for letting me come on here and peek again.
Anytime.
And a great to hang out with you and Milk Man. But I was just going to say that, I don't know what the future holds for Xbox. I want to remain optimistic, but it slips away each and every day. And every time we hear a news story, and it's serious, it's bad when the devout fans, the biggest of your supporters, are calling you out. You've struck a nerve. You're definitely not doing right by the people that you should be doing right with. We shouldn't be having these conversations. We shouldn't be making these podcasts, and you shouldn't be doing fucking 3 and 4 of them within the run of a 6-month span, because that just tells you something is wrong at the company. And it's from the top down, and it goes right to the game divisions. There's something seriously off over at Microsoft, and it could lead to the downfall of essentially at least the hardware division, where the games division goes. But I think if the hardware falls, I think, like you said earlier, it's just a matter of time before the software, they become a full publisher, and maybe even sell off either some of the studios, or they sell off some of the IPs. Who the hell knows? But I think that in a year's time, I think Xbox is going to look drastically different than the Xbox we see today. And can the course be rewritten? I don't think so. I mean, I think they have the ability, they have the people, the ability, and the money to turn things around to a certain degree, but turn it around for who? And the question is, even if they came out, give us this best console, restructure the whole thing from the ground up, do we trust them? Do we trust them? That's the thing, is once you break trust in a company, when a company really lets you down bad and they break that trust, it's hard to go all in on them again. And I don't know if I could. I think seriously, the Series X is probably my last Xbox console, even if they do make another one. And if they do make anything at all, I said we highly think it's going to be it's going to be their name brand slapped on something just to keep them out there, to keep that idea that Xbox is alive. But it's not Xbox. It's not the Xbox we know and love. So I don't know, man. It's crazy times we're living in. I hate to be having these conversations, but at least here we are. So, hey, man, all I can say is Xbox doesn't want my money. There's at least 2 other people I know I can give it to.
Yeah, I know. And that's the sad part. And again, like, we don't know what's going to, allegedly this news, allegedly this news is going to break this week, that they're going to officially announce that they're done with their hardware, the official Xbox hardware. Again, like you said, like, I had to make a fucking video about this. I got to be on another podcast. Like, I don't mind doing it, but it's like, this is not what these shows are for. These shows are for exposing people to games and get people to fucking play them and enjoy our channels. Get people to stop thinking about shit that's going on in real life. But we're pulled into this fucking drama of gaming. It's like, dude, we just want to watch games. We want to play games. It's not a big deal. But we want the games to come out so we can play them. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. But it's just a big deal for really no reason. The company should be able to just do all this shit. Get it done. Look at Capcom. How many fucking Resident Evils have come out in the last 5-6 years? A shit ton.
Yeah, and look where Capcom was at one point. Their stock was plummeting. They were on
they were fucking dead.
And all of a sudden they're like, let's go back to making games that we know our fans actually want and like. And let's resurrect or even remake some of our old franchises and make it good, which they did. And fucking look at them now. They're fucking powerhouse again.
Capcom was shitting all over their fans with Mega Man during that time where they were like really fucked, like in 2012. They were like, oh yeah, you guys want Mega Man? Fuck you. You're not getting Mega Man. Then Mighty Number 9 came along and were like, oh my God, here's Mega Man. And they've been, they literally started listening to the fans ever since then. And Resident Evil improved. All these other franchises, Street Fighter improved. Capcom has been on fire the last 5 or 6 years. And they've released a shit ton of games. Microsoft, it's hard for them to get one game out the fucking door. Why? They got more money than Capcom.
Yeah. And they got capable studios. Fuck, they bought Bethesda.
They got the manpower.
Games left, right, and center. They got the manpower.
I mean,
they got talent. It's not a matter of having talent, but like,
right.
Again, what's going on? Like, is it just managed? Did everybody just get afraid of the articles, the word crunch? Is that what happened? Is like they got so afraid of the word crunch, and they got so got so afraid of like perception of companies that they stopped telling these guys to basically show up and actually go to work. I think they're showing up, but they ain't going to work. You know, remember the whole, like, when all the devs went and they're like working from home bullshit, you know what I mean? And then they didn't want to go back. Like, that whole couple of years ruined everybody, because then they got used to being lazy. They got used to just taking the foot off the gas because they couldn't, be in the studio.
Right.
And now I think that's kind of what they think, that this is it now. We can easily take 3 or 4 or 5 years or more than that to make a game, and that should be suffice. It's like, no, like, games on the 360 weren't. I don't care what anybody says. They weren't that much more complex to what today's games and what we have back then. Yeah, there's a little more flash and dash, but seriously, come on, guys. And didn't they always say with more power and more, smart computering and more tools that things were supposed to get easier, not more complex? So make it make sense to me.
They still haven't found the fucking tools. It's been all these years. They still haven't found the goddamn tools.
No, exactly. How many times do we hear that in a lot of podcasts? Every time the game didn't come out right, it's the tools.
The tools.
Also, the only fucking tools is the ones that are making the podcast talking about the tools.
The tools. I don't even know at this point.
Yeah, man. But anyway, I'll stop ranting. Thanks for letting me come on, though. I just got back from a birthday dinner with my friend. Shout out to my good buddy Ryan Galloway. Sometimes you see him in our chats.
Nice.
Celebrated 40
Happy
years.
Birthday to him.
Friend of mine, and was out for dinner and come home, and I saw you were on. I was like, cool. I'm gonna tune in and listen to what you gotta say. And of course, I was watching the Tim Dog stuff because I was sending him a DM too. It was like we were messaging each other. I sent him a DM, and all of a sudden it's like, I get this thing could not be sent, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Is my Twitter broken? And I tried again, it could not be sent. And then all of a sudden I look, it was, this account has been, deactivated or some fucking thing? And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, I was just talking to the dude, and now his account's gone. I was like, is it getting that bad? And then now he's back on.
Yeah, he's back on now.
Yeah, to come on and deal with Paris and a few other things or whatever. And it's like, holy shit, man, Tesla's getting crazy in here. And like I said, apparently we don't even know the half of it yet. So, and that's why we trust Tim Dog. Not to say that he's the be all, end all, know all, but we know he's a very passionate guy. He's a very passionate Xbox fan. It was always his go-to.
I listened to him on RDX even when you were on there as a guest on RDX. I would listen to you guys. You know what I mean? And let me tell you something. I told him this on Spaces. You guys got me through this shit because Xbox One was going through some shitty stuff with the VCR and all that bullshit. And you guys were like, the 1X is coming. You know what I mean? It's going to be great. It's going to be good. They're really fighting for us, blah, blah. You guys got me through that. And I stayed with Xbox. You know what I mean? So, I mean, these podcasts do help people.
Yeah, for a while it was looking up. Wise Old Gamer got into this because we, got him through a tough time in his life. Shout out to Wise. But no, Tim Dog's a good guy. And Tim Dog is connected with people. Like, he hears more than the average Xbox.
Well, he would always say that on RDX. And then, like, people, like, shit on him on Twitter. I'm like, do you not listen to this guy? Like, he's been telling you this stuff for years.
Yeah. He knows insiders.
And everyone's like, oh, you're just a fanboy. You're upset. It's like, no, do you not listen to this guy on RDX? Like, do you not listen to this?
He used to go to all the fan fests and all the E3s and all those shows. He used to go to those things. And he used to meet with Phil and he used to all this sort of stuff. Yeah. And he's like you. He's tired of the lies. Because that's all it was. It was empty promises, and it turned into.
And you know what? It probably hurts him more because he was closer to the situation than me. I'm just a guy that buys shit. Totally.
Absolutely.
He probably thought these guys were his friends, and they're telling him this stuff. Then he's running around and parading it, and then when it turns around and they change their minds and shit like that, then he looks weird. They look bad. You know what I mean? It's just not a good thing. Yeah. And then the personal level, like I just mentioned, like it's got to fuck with the guy too.
I don't believe that Phil and Sarah and Aaron Greener and any of that, I don't believe they're bad people for a moment.
They're not bad people. They're just,
I think they're
part of a corporation.
The right place. And I do think they do care about the fans. Phil doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that doesn't care.
Right.
I don't get that feeling from him whatsoever. Like, I think he does. I think his hands are tied to a large part. I mean, again,
obviously,
he's making good money. He's been with the company his whole life pretty much. And it's, he obviously stuck his neck out at one point to basically save the brand. We all remember how many times he said, Phil was savior, and he largely did. He had a play in that. He had a play in the Xbox lasting this long, but I think at some point the business got so complex. I think it was out of his hands. So a lot of stuff happened that he didn't have a lot of control over. I think he's the product of it just, again, the shit running down the hill here at this point. And yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't shoulder some of the blame. He has to. He
definitely has to.
I don't think it's all on him. I get the feeling a large part of this comes again from the shareholders and the people at the top. And that guy starts with Satya, and it goes from there. Because I think Satya, like when you listen to both of those guys talk, Satya doesn't strike me as a guy that has anything to fucking do with X. He's like your parents. He's like your relatives. The ones that always told you that video games were nonsense and to grow the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's him. He's that guy. He's that guy that doesn't understand the medium. He's part of the business. He understands the business side, and he understands what's selling. That's the only metric that matters to him is that, Windows does well. He thinks that everything Microsoft puts his name on is going to be an instant success. He doesn't realize sometimes you actually have to work for it, and he doesn't understand either the audience because the people that put on Windows don't really give a shit. Like it's an operating system.
Right.
But gaming is so much different. Gaming is an actual tangible product, an entertainment product that people enjoy and people invest in. That's why we know the characters. You think Satya knows anything about Master Chief and his fucking back history? And he probably couldn't tell you shit. If you give him a question,
probably didn't even know they owned Halo.
Exactly. He probably couldn't answer even half his own fucking questions. He runs the business.
He thought Cortana was from Windows 10.
Right? This is what I'm saying. That's the difference between him and Phil. And this is why you shouldn't let Satya should have just, here, I'm going to write you the fucking checks, and I'm not going to have nothing else to do with it. You do whatever you need, because people said that's what he did, but I don't believe that.
Right.
I think that's not what happens. He's writing the checks, but then I think if he doesn't see the results in a certain time frame that he wants them, I think he's coming back and going, this ain't making the money that
and that's where kind of telling me that's where I think the blame falls on Phil Spencer. Like if he can't get this stuff done in a timely manner, there's a time limit. You got to get that done. You got to figure it out. You got to try to go down to the studios, put pressure on these guys. I'm not saying crunch people because that's just stupid, but go down there and be like, guys, we got to get this project going. What do you guys need? What can we do to help you get this game out the fucking door?
I think Halo Infinite would have been better off coming out almost broken, but at least making launch than coming out a year after release. Because I think that game should have been the flagship for this generation, and that was a big first.
We had no idea, but that was the first red flag, man. That really was. We had no fucking idea.
Title that you worked on for years didn't hit its launch date. That's has Nintendo ever said Mario?
Dude, we had to fucking play the Series X with 3 shitty Ubisoft games.
Yeah.
You know how fucking stupid that was? I don't know. And here's the thing. I'm going to clear this up with Phil Spencer. Again, I don't know the guy. He might be the greatest man on earth. I have no fucking idea. We make fun of the corporate guy, the guy that does the job. Okay? Mm-hmm. We do the thumbnails. We say, fuck him, fuck that, because he's the figurehead. Who else are we going to say? If something happens at Nintendo, I'm going to be like, fuck Miyamoto. That guy's an idiot. Or Doug Bowser, which he's leaving anyway. Reggie, okay, that's a perfect example. When the Wii U was floundering, we called Reggie the yes man. We were like, this guy doesn't know shit. He's a yes man. He's doing what the higher ups want to do. He doesn't tell them like Howard Lincoln used to do, the old president of Nintendo. Howard Lincoln would tell the Japanese, he'd be like, that shit won't fly in America. We're not doing that. And the Japanese would back off. Reggie would just sit there and be like, oh, yeah, we could do that. It's like, Reggie, what are you fucking doing? The Wii U it's not going to work over here. What are you doing? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then when the 3DS came out at fucking $299, everyone backlashed against it. Nobody bought it. But Reggie sat there, yeah, sell it for $299. Reggie didn't go, you know what? I don't think our consumers are going to do that right now. You got the fucking PSP out there. It's $100. We can't charge $300 for this thing. Reggie didn't do that. So we always took Reggie to task.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is the same thing. So again, it's something personal. I don't know the guy, but he did say a bunch of shit in interviews that wasn't true. So that's what we're going off of when we make the thumbnails and we make fun of the guy or we curse him out or Fred puts the mask on and fucking makes fun of him.
Sometimes the thing is with these companies, tough decisions have to be made, and they need someone with the balls to come in and make that suggestion or that decision. And you look back at the Peter Moore, the Steve Ballmer situation with the Xbox 360 and the Red Rings of Death. Peter Moore said himself he was terrified. He had to come in and tell Steve Ballmer we have a far higher number of failures.
Ballmer was Gates' right-hand man. Like
he was scared. He said, I didn't know what was going to happen. He said, how much are you going to need to fix it? We're going to need this much money. And the guy just said, go do it. Fix it.
Right.
See what I'm saying? That's the difference.
And that was because Bill Gates wanted to compete with Sony. They were going to do whatever they could to compete with fucking Sony. They wanted Xbox in the living room and not PlayStation 2. So that was the whole thing.
Speaking of compete, see, Xbox, me personally, they should have given up on the Land of the Rising Sun ages ago. I wouldn't have spent a fucking dollar over there. They spent way too much dollars to trying to put their consoles in territories that don't give a shit. Who cares if Sony kicks your ass over there? Whatever.
Worry about us.
You know what? Kick ass here. Fucking kick ass here. Stop trying to like at certain point in time you just got to write it off. It's fucking not happening. You've tried it numerous generations and they've stuck it to you.
Here's the thing.
Like American shit. Right? That's
exactly. That you got it right on the head right there. You know why? I read an article, all right, a few years ago. And I talked about this on the show. Ford and Chevy pulled out of Japan. You know why they pulled out of Japan? Because they don't buy our shit. Because they know they make the superior stuff. So they're not going to buy our Xboxes. They're not going to buy our cars. The only thing they are going to buy is tickets to see like American, Canadian singers and stuff like that. Like music concerts. When they go over there, they're going to do that. No problem. But our products, they don't want our fucking products. They make better products than we do.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to tech, you're very, very picky about what they have.
All these PlayStation guys were like, ooh, they're never going to sell in Japan. They can't get Japan. It's like they're never going to get it anyway. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. You could send Phil over there fucking naked in the middle of the streets of Japan dancing, I don't know, doing a flash dance over there. They're not going to care.
And they're very traditional.
Yes.
That's why Nintendo is still the biggest thing. Nintendo even kicks Sony's ass over there. And they love traditionalism. And they love the fact that Nintendo... If you hear like they're like they like portables, they like small stuff, they like cutting edge tech
because their fucking houses are small. All that shit is small. They don't
want this big boxy consoles that look like the size of refrigerators and shit. They don't want that. They want small, compact, and they don't even necessarily care about the graphics. They have this thing like this is just a different culture, and they don't give a shit about the American stuff. And again, I would have said sorry guys, it's not to be offensive, but your people and your culture has shown that you guys don't want our stuff. So we're not going to spend money there. Sorry. It means we're not going to grow.
Right.
But we're not like, I'd rather not sell a single console than sell 300 in a fucking month compared to PlayStation that sells like fucking, 200,000 units and you're selling like 300. Like that's embarrassing. Like fucking stop,
Yeah. And I think the problem is just, this all started with Xbox One. You can't make a first impression or whatever the fucking saying is. You know what I mean?
Once the Xbox almost turned that around. That's the thing. Like Xbox tried to
with
be
the One X
toward the end of the 10, but the problem was then by the time they were catching up with that hardware side of things, and they finally got rid of that stupid Kinect, which was going nowhere. The games just fucking staggered. They just didn't have the software to back it up. That was the problem.
Yeah, I just think though, really, the name. The minute they did the DRM thing, the name just diluted. And like you said, and I mentioned too, the One X, that was a turnaround point for them as well. But it just they never recovered from that.
No.
Because you had a bunch of people from the 360 jump to PlayStation 4 and they never came back. That's why, like when you guys say, when you guys say, oh, well, everyone is going to get smoked on PlayStation with Gears. A lot of them came from 360, so they know Gears. But the problem is they never went back. So, I mean, that's the whole thing. They lost a portion of their audience that they never gained back. And I think that really hurt them. And it continues to hurt them to this day.
Yeah, indeed.
So it's
It
just
sure does, man. The
ripple effect.
reputation, it's a complete opposite reputation of where they were, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. I really thought the Series X was going to be like the 360 era.
Yeah.
I thought they were
Again,
starting to
guys,
get the
I'll
momentum
reiterate
back.
again. I reiterate again to everybody listening to this podcast, whether you've been here with us the entire time or you check out Perry's show on the replay, this is not out of hatred for the brand. It's out of love for the brand. It's just the disappointment runs deeper.
Yep.
Like people say, you're not as hard on Nintendo or Xbox.
Well, we were.
You're not as hard on Nintendo. People say that to me. And I say, you know what? I say, no, I'm probably not. That's true. Probably not. Now, I do call them out. But here's why, Perry. This is why I'm not necessarily as hard.
Right.
Because I'm not, my preferred brand is not Nintendo or PlayStation.
Yep.
So when those guys drop the ball, I'm not as pissed off because I don't care about them. Honestly, if I only had to own one console, the more I'd want it to be Xbox. But I'm at the point now, as I said earlier, you probably saw my tweet, right?
Yeah.
The generations. I can't believe that PlayStation is my preferred console.
Yep.
This is what I'm saying. In any other generation, I would have said Xbox hands down. I said if you took all three of those right now and said if you had to get rid of like 1, 2, or 3, I would have said get rid of Nintendo, get rid of PlayStation without hesitation.
Right.
Give me my Xbox.
Yep.
Guess what? I can't say that now.
Yep.
I can't say that now because they're not giving me what I want. Right?
Yep. And we paid.
And I'm not saying the other guys are perfect. They're not. They're not perfect. But it's because my preferred brand is Xbox, and Xbox is fucking up royally. That's why I feel the way I do, because they're really screwing it up, and I'm hurt, I'm angry, and a lot of fans should be angry. We've invested a lot in this brand.
Absolutely, that's why I'm upset. I invested a lot of money into it. This is the problem. People, they think that it's console warring. It's not. We put money into this shit. People that are fucking accusing me of console warring, you have one Xbox, I have 16, and that's just Series X's. All right. That doesn't count the 360s. I have every single fucking 360 downstairs, all the special edition ones. I'll do a video one day. I'll fucking show them all off. I don't care.
Yeah.
I got original Xboxes. I got original Xbox sealed. I got a 360 sealed. I got a 360. I have a 360 in the box with the fucking Blades dashboard. Just saying. All right, go ahead.
You guys hear what Perry just hear what Perry just said there, right? But yeah, a so-called really big Xbox YouTuber put a tweet earlier tonight that he didn't even know the last Xbox. Remember the last 360 version?
Right.
They had their they had their Slim, right? They had the original.
Yeah, the E model. I have the E model sealed with Plants vs. Zombies.
He didn't even know that existed. Apparently, he just picked one up. So how big of a fucking Xbox fan? How fucking big of an Xbox fan do you claim to be when you didn't even know apparently that version of it existed?
Bro, I got the final version of that. It's got the 500 gig hard drive with Plants vs. Zombies bundled in.
Yeah,
and by the way, I have the E model blue edition that came with Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2 from Walmart. The blue edition was only sold at Walmart. I have that downstairs. I have the Star Wars one with the R2-D2 one. I have one in the box and one out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
I got plenty of that stuff, man. It's all downstairs.
I hear you, man. I hear you. That's why we are where we are, and that's why we feel the way we feel, and not much is going to change it.
I'm going to tell you one more thing really quick, okay? Mm-hmm. I had the Xbox 360. The fucking thing red ringed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And it was like the second one that I had that red ringed. Sent it in, whatever, got it back. I said, fuck this. I'm not even touching it. I had the PlayStation 3, so I just started buying games on clearance for PS3. So I went to GameStop just to see what the hell they had. The lady pulls out the Xbox 360 Slim. Right? And I was like, what's that? And she goes, Microsoft just announced this like 5 minutes ago, and we're allowed to sell it now. And I was like, can I get one of those? And she's like, you have to stay here. You can't leave. If you leave, I can't hold it for you. We have to sell it. Because there was like a line of people. But she's like, if you stay right here, I could sell it to you. And I was like, fuck. So I called my wife. And I was like, hey, she was like almost home. I was like, can you go home, unhook the Xbox 360, bring the fucking controller and all that bullshit. So she meets me there like an hour later. I traded all in, and they gave me like the best trade-in value for that shit because I walked out of there paying like $20. But I was like, I got the 360 Slim. Fuck the PlayStation. I'm fucking back on Xbox, baby.
Mhm.
And it wasn't like I was off Xbox, but like now I had the Slim and I was like, okay, this shit hopefully won't red ring because it's a newer machine, a newer model. And guess what? I still have that machine right now. It works fine. But
Yep.
that was like, it needed to happen. It was like a shot in the arm. It was like, all right, cool. Like we're back here. It was great. I just love that.
It sure was. Good times.
Hell yeah. And next month we're doing the LAN party. I'm going to live stream that. Am I such a fucking Sony pony that I'm going to live stream? I got a bunch of old school monitors downstairs ready to go. We're all going to be doing that. I'll live stream it.
Yeah. And you know what, Perry? I said one last point. Well, I still got it in my head.
Yeah.
I said before there was a ton of ways to make Game Pass succeed too without going all in the way that they did. Remember a little game on the 360 that was highly popular called 1 versus 100?
Yes.
Why in the fuck did they not bring that back for Game Pass? It would have sold Game Pass like that. Would it like? How can you be so dumb?
Dude, my wife and I would have been playing that shit every fucking night if that was on Game Pass right now or on Xbox in general.
You'd keep a Game Pass subscription for that alone, wouldn't you?
Yes.
I would.
My wife loves that show. I love that show. I used to play
fun.
Fucking Deal or No Deal on the DS for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, and winning shit and stuff, and like that was amazing. That was such a cool moment in time. Like it's so hard to believe that the 360 generation was still in so many ways ahead of where we are. Maybe remember Netflix came to 360 and I had that exclusive
movie theater thing.
You invite your friends to watch the. How the fuck did that not take off back then? I'm like, are people stupid? Like this is so fucking cool.
Anthony used to do that all the time with his friends. They would sit on Xbox Live watching a movie.
You could do it now in your Meta Quest, but this is the Meta Quest. So see, 360 was way ahead of its time, but for some reason, again, they give up on shit. I don't know. I don't know, man. I know a game like 1 versus 100 would have costed and invested money too, but could it be any more of an investment than a lot of these games?
That could have been the game while you're waiting. While you're waiting for the big games to come out, that could have been the one fucking game that everyone could sit down every night and enjoy.
And and because it's like episodic, because it's like, can you think of anything that's better than that for Game Pass because of the nature of its type of game that it would have been? Right. It's perfect. And it's not a game that would like took people, you didn't have to be a game expert to play it. You could play it with your whole fucking family.
Yep.
Like this is what I'm saying. Like the stuff that they're missing out on is beyond.
That would have sold subscriptions too. Like you said, family. People, they'll play with their families. Their families will play the fucking game. Even if that's the only goddamn game they're going to buy.
Win a month of Game Pass by playing 1 versus 100. You know, get exclusive discounts of 1 versus 100. You know, like people would have paid more premium money for that. You know?
And we're not saying that would have been the savior, but it would have been something that would have been really cool.
No, it wouldn't. Not exactly. It might not have been a savior, but I guarantee it would have drawn in millions of people.
Yes.
Millions. Because everybody I've talked to, everybody I've brought that idea up with, they've been like, my God, that would have been amazing. I'm like, right?
There's people that missed out on it that just love the idea. They're like, holy shit, like that happened? Like, yes.
Yeah. And then you had your little avatars. See, they even give up on that. Remember, they didn't even fully flesh that out. Remember how cool that idea was when the Xbox One came out, they were going to expand on what we had.
Yeah, that's right.
With the original avatars, and they gave up on that. They didn't do anything with it. It took so long for them to bring it out. Most people forgot about it by the time it did. And then they just really never did nothing with it. It's like, actually, it was really cool. I mean, I go back and play some of those 360 games. You get to use your avatar in the game, like Joyride and stuff. And I was like, dude, that was awesome. You created your character, could play it in some of those games, and then you could have your avatar for 1 versus 100. It was so cool.
Bro, I spent $40 because you made me play that game. I bought $40 in Power Ranger avatars before they got yanked off the store.
See?
Yeah, see, you sold me $40 worth of shit. And you didn't even get any money for it. They did.
Man, I'm telling you. Oh, sometimes they just hire the wrong people to run these companies. I swear to God, just go get a couple average fans like us and come in to be your fucking, at least your consultants, and listen to us, and you might get somewhere, but nope.
Well, remember the guy, I don't even know if you remember this, the guy, so Nintendo of America they had I forgot what they were doing. They had some shipping facility or something over here. And then they had a guy play Super Mario Brothers 2, which was their Super Mario Brothers 2. The guy played it, goes, this is too hard. People are going to not buy this game. And they were like, really? And he was like, yeah, no one's going to buy this game. They called Japan and said, listen, this fucking American guy, he's a fucking idiot and can't play this game. And he's telling us that no one will be able to play it over here. So Japan said, okay, we'll make an easier game since Americans seem to be stupid. So they reskinned Doki Doki Panic into Super Mario Brothers 2, and that's the version that we got. And it's a decently challenged game, but it's not that hard. But you see like that, like they listened to a guy that worked in their shipping facility, just dicking around playing Nintendo. Like sometimes you got to do that. You got to listen to one of these guys.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that they're going to save the company and shit like that. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes you listen to feedback from actual fans and not consultants. You can make an informed decision. Okay, this is what the audience is asking for. Let's see if we can actually do this now. That's it. It's not a big deal.
Listen to people who love games because they do it for a passion. It's not a job.
Right.
We're not being paid to play games. We don't sit here and get paid for it. We don't, these podcasts don't get paid for it. We do it out of passion. And those are the strongest fans, the people that do it for the love of it, not because they're told to do it, not because there's a paycheck behind it. And this is the problem. The people making
Wait a minute.
Xbox.
You mean you weren't money hatted by Jim Ryan?
No, apparently not. You must have missed that memo. I'm not saying that there aren't some gamers at Xbox. I'm sure there are, Phil being one of them. But largely, like I said, the most important decisions are being made by guys who have very little game experience. I don't even think they understand the game industry. They come from a lot of times when they hire these guys, they hire them because they had a prestige back in they were good in accounting or they were fucking good with some other tech company. But they just because you were fucking good at making a cell phone doesn't mean you know shit about games.
Right.
That's the thing. Right?
Yep.
It's no different than if I fucking am good at making boats. So that doesn't make me automatically an expert on motorcycles. Like vice versa, whatever. The economics are different. The environment is different.
You can know math. That doesn't mean you know calculus. You know what I mean?
The biggest thing about gaming compared to other mediums is the fans. There's a lot of diversity within the fans and the fan base because we all have different tastes. We like different games.
Yes.
We all have different social things. Like some guys are playing 40 hours a week. Some of us only have 3 and 4. There's a lot of factors with gaming that are, like I said, don't show up in the statistics. That's the thing. Like they're social things that people got to understand. They understand Fortnite. They understand there's a lot of stupid kids that play it and spend a shitload of money or their dad's money or their mom's money on a credit card for fucking skins that actually have no bearing to the game. They just, I get the latest skin. That's kind of crap, And I'm sorry, I don't pick up Fortnite. Fortnite's actually a much better game than I used to give it credit for.
No, you're good. I got sucked into that for the White Ranger. I'm trying to fucking unlock that stupid asshole. I need a level 90 for that.
My problem with Fortnite when I say it isn't the game itself so much as it's just what it represents for the industry. Kind of like Game Pass, right? It's what it represents and it's why it's popular.
Well, yeah, because it moved. It has an audience now that will never experience games the way that we did. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's the free to play shit.
Same way that there's people still fucking playing League of Legends.
Yes.
A decade later, the same old fucking game.
World of Warcraft, 20 years later.
Go and play something new, for fuck's sake. Go and buy some shit and get off the one bloody game. Because these guys, as long as they keep seeing you sinking money into it, they like Counter-Strike. Why is there only like 1 or 2 Counter-Strikes? Because he keeps making money on the same old game. Like people just get off of that game, let it die, and maybe they'll make a new one.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. But they keep investing in the same old shit because a lot of these gamers just don't fucking move the needle.
Well, GTA 5, perfect example.
Exactly.
They hoard that out.
Rockstar used to make a boatload of games every year in the 360 generation, and now it's like fuck, they can't get anything out.
Used to do Manhunt, Bully, all these games, and they don't do shit anymore. And they do Red Dead and fucking GTA.
Yeah, don't tell me they don't have the money. Like, they don't have the resources or the money. Fuck yeah, they got tons
They
of
got
it.
plenty of fucking
But
money.
they're just like, why work for our money when we can make the easy money? We already did the work. We made one game, and now we just got to pay enough staff to run a server and fucking keep making updates to the same fucking game for the next decade.
And I guarantee you, when GTA 6 comes out, GTA 5 will
That'll
come
be
out on
fantastic.
Switch too. And they're going to still make money on GTA 5.
I bet you any money you're absolutely right. You can call it right now, GTA 5. The definitive edition comes out on the Switch too, probably when that one comes out. You're right, or Red Dead at least, or something.
Yeah, this because they got to keep 5 going, even though 6 is out, and they'll taper off on the current gen at some point, but the Switch won't.
Yeah.
So,
and Switch 2 will probably have enough power. It should have enough power to run GTA 5 at least somewhat efficiently.
Yeah, it'll run it. It'll be
GTA 5 to run on 360. It should be able to run on a Switch 2.
Yep.
All right. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. But thanks for having me up here. I'm going to get going, man. It's almost 3 o'clock, and it's even later in your neck of the woods, and I got to literally get up in about 3 hours here.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. Anytime you want. Obviously, just jump in.
No, man, I appreciate it, dude. Just had the event tonight. Obviously, a lot going on, and I was almost going to actually start up I was sitting there thinking, should I jump on and do one of those impromptu things I'm always doing? And then I saw you were on anyway. It's like, well, maybe just jump in with you instead. So
I wasn't even going to do this, but I was like, you know what? I'll go live anyway, see what happens. And there you go.
Absolutely. Well, have a great night, everybody. And to MILF man, good chatting with you, bro. I don't know if you're still here or not, but sorry that I was highly winded tonight. He might be gone. But anyway, to all the chat guys watching since Perry started up the show, and the people that catch it later, man, you guys are friggin' fantastic. I know a lot of you guys are GAD old school too, so
hell yeah,
it's good to see you in the chat and getting all your feedback and listening to this old windbags this long. So thanks a million, guys. Appreciate it. And yeah, we'll catch up with you guys soon.
Anytime, Noof. Thank you so much.
Great night, guys. See you, Talon. See you, Avenge. See you, everybody. See you, Nurto. Who else is here? Yeah. See you guys all later.
All right, Noof. Good night. Thank you. Are you still here, MILF man? He's muted, but I don't know if he's still. Maybe he fell asleep. All right. Are there any questions? Because I'm probably going to head out too. Listen, I want to say one thing, okay? You know, at the beginning of the stream, somebody like messaged me on here and was like saying shit. Listen, I'm not here to hurt your brain. I'm an Xbox guy too, okay? Just calm down. Everyone needs to chill out. I'm not saying what I'm saying is factual. I'm saying this is what we're hearing, and allegedly, this is what we're hearing is going to happen this week. I don't know. We don't know. That's why we do these shows, because we don't know what the fuck's going to happen. We come on here and we talk about shit. We try to figure it out, crack the code. And guess what? We'll never crack the damn code because we don't know what's going to happen. We have to wait and find out. So everyone just chill out, man. It's not a big deal. God damn. Everyone takes this shit so personally. It is what it is. I take it more personally because I spent more money on this stuff. But this is why we talk it out with the community. We come on here. I talk to you guys in the chat. You jump in. Noof jumped in. He was in the chat before. This is what we do. We discuss this stuff. You're allowed to have a discussion. You know what I mean? It's not a major fucking deal. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Hey, I'll come on here and say I'm wrong. I never had an issue with that. I know a lot of people have a problem with saying that they're wrong. That's the problem with the world today. Everyone won't admit that they're fucking wrong. I will admit I'm wrong because I grew up in that generation where we were taught, if you're wrong, fucking admit that you're wrong. It's not a big deal. But it's not that, like I said, it's not that big of a deal. This is a problem with a corporation. It's not really my problem at the end of the day. The only issue that I have is I spent money on this shit. I spent a lot of money on Xbox One, Series X, and all the previous generations. And yeah, the Series X, we got fucked on. I'm sorry. If you like it and you enjoy it, that's great. You are having fun right now. You're having the time of your life. I'm not. The console was good when it came out, is good for like retro things. Like I'm buying Mortal Kombat and fucking Hexen. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So, all right. Well, let's see what happens next week, and we'll take it from there. And if something does break or there's news that comes out, then, we're going to go live and we're going to talk about it like we always do. If Nintendo pulls the Switch 2 for whatever reason, because Joy-Cons are like breaking and shit like that and mass quantities, we're going to come on here and tell you about that. It's not a big deal, man. Everyone needs to chill out. We've been here doing this show forever. It's not a big thing. And if you don't like what you're watching, you can always turn the stream off and you can go watch something else. Go to your echo chamber. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But anyway, guys in the chat, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. Talos, I agree with you 100%, buddy. He said he spent his money over the years as well. Venge, take care. Talos, all you guys in the chat, Milfman, I know he probably fell asleep or whatever. But I want to thank you all. I want to thank Noof again for coming on. He didn't have to come on, but he was awake. Like you said, he jumped in. And that's what's great about this. People can jump in and out, and we can get opinions from everybody. So everyone take care. Stay safe. Have a good one. Peace.